Let's roll. The Monday night meltdown has begun. The late night anger management class, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between, including the bracket busters. Let's do this thing. The countdown to madness has officially begun. Normally this show is all about the end game, the end game, the end game. What are the end game odds? What's the halftime odds? What are we doing? Morency, any late night Australian basketball going on? And incidentally, the basketball finals in Australia, the NBL, that actually tips off Thursday night as well. So it all sort of culminates on Thursday. Not that there's college basketball not going on. We got Hartford and San Diego. But as crazy as it sounds, I'm almost sort of, I'm exhaling right now before we go in. Because we're going to go in and, and Dave Morency's going to join us in a second. And he's no doubt going to remind us that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I saw a great quote from Todd Furman in which he stated that, March Madness is a lot like going to a strip club. You can run out of money pretty fast if you jump on everything that you like early. And, you go into Sapphire in Vegas and it's like, damn, I'm going to get a dance from her. Oh, she's hot. She's hot. Yeah, an hour and a half later, man, she's moved on to another sap. The Shriners have come to town and you're out of money. So you got to be careful, and it really, you look at these games, and let's bring the professor. We do have one NBA game tonight. It's not a bad one, actually, with the Miami Heat and the Portland Trailblazers this evening, but it's not awful. We get to spend an hour with the professor, especially a couple of days before the tournament starts. But, of course, we got the play-in games on Tuesday night. So without further ado, let's bring in the professor straight from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we will be in about 48 hours' time. There's no Wicked Wednesday on Wednesday, but Clay Travis, Kelly in Vegas, Zach Jones and company, the SBR crew, are going to be in Vegas. I'm going to be en route to Vegas. Thursday morning, we'll be on at 11 o'clock Eastern with Paulie Howard and with Teddy Covers. Thursday and Friday, I'll join the boys Saturday if I'm not in Clark County at that point in time. So tonight, let's focus in on the tournament and, start to break it down, including the play-in games. But we'll also get a quick pick in with the Miami Heat and the Blazers tonight. Let's bring in Dave Morency. You read him on the front page of Sportsbook Review on a daily basis. And I want to remind you that we're going to be at the Mirage Friday as well. Come down. This is, come down, hang out. Clay Travis is going to be there. We're going to be there. Lou Gamblu is going to be in-house. Going to be a ton of people there, listeners, different personalities, going to be drinking and watching the games and having a great time. That's Friday at 4 o'clock Vegas time at the Mirage Sportsbook. Let's bring in the Professor Dave Morency. Dave, always a pleasure, sir. How you doing?
It's great, Gabe. When I listened to your opening tonight, I just envision you do that same opening on Thursday or Friday, and all you have to do is point the camera out your hotel room window, and people will see exactly what you described. Although, and I should probably be a little careful about this, you might not have to point the camera outside the window. That might be your suite. You could literally be describing the state of affairs in your suite come Friday night.
Yeah, and exactly, Dave. I will admit as well, my budget, Dave, doesn't afford for the great views. You know what I'm saying? Like my view won't be kicking. I'm not going to be kicking it live from the Wynn or the Mirage or anything like that. Although this is going to be the first time ever, Dave, that I will be more welcome on the Wynn property than Steve Wynn himself.
Well, first, for anybody,
first time ever, Dave, it's a miracle.
No, not the first time. It's been well known for decades here, but it was just people made money by keeping it quiet. So he was never that well. Normally I go in there and I get the eye and stuff. It's like, hey, you sure you're coming to the right place, buddy? Now, I'm more welcome than Steve Wynn himself on the name, but you call that and we'll see if the name comes down. But they might call it the Morency over time. But let's throw a couple things out there for people coming to town. First, if you're coming to Vegas and you're not familiar with Vegas, you don't want to be at the Wynn or the Bellagio or those places this weekend. You want to be at the Westgate. You want to be the place where there's going to be a lot of bettors. The $20 bettor is not going to be at the Wynn. You want to be where the action is. But I'll tell you what I can't help getting through my head as I think about where you're going to be staying. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners, even though this is an old book, there have got to be a lot of listeners who have read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. by the great Hunter Thompson. Truly, I mean, one of the great masterpieces of American literature in the 20th century. That was based upon a weekend where he was staying in Circus Circus, and some of the antics that went on remind me of the sort of thing you just might be doing. If you haven't read the book, Gabe, get a copy and read it on the flight out. That is fabulous.
I have. Reading. Yeah, I have. And you know what's amazing about Circus Circus, actually, Dave, is that, you know, it's sort of known, you think of it as the Circus Circus, and it is sort of the one place on the strip where there are a couple of extra kids, without a doubt. But without being stated, it was actually built, and the concept was put together by the Joe Pesci character in Casino. What was his name and real name? Spiltrain? You would know. What's his?
Spilatro.
Spilatro. Excuse me, Spilatro. So yeah, I guess he's the one that he borrowed the money and stuff. It was his concept, the whole Circus Circus, but it was more. Not so much circus, you know, he wanted like tightrope, you know, the shows and, you know, sort of the ballet in the air, so to speak. And I guess he had a shop in there, but yeah, it's pretty funny that MGM owns it now. And it's sort of like a family place and really, you know, built by the mob.
But, you know, those things are still, the circus acts are still going on. There's something people might remember too, and this is going back a ways. Diamonds Are Forever. The last Sean Connery appearance as James Bond, Jill St. John playing the Femme Fatale, Charles Gray playing Blofeld. Parts of that, of course, were shot in Las Vegas, but some of the key scenes were shot in Circus Circus. That's going back a ways. And again, we're talking about a movie that was shot 50 years ago, but it's still the old kitschy stuff of Circus Circus is still there. That rotating bar that Hunter Thompson was so drunk he was afraid to step off of because it was moving on him. That bar is still there. Some parts of Circus Circus haven't changed.
Yeah, that bar freaks me out as well, Dave. And it's funny you say that too, because I actually lived at Circus Circus for a couple of months. You know, it was pretty crazy in the Courtyard Suites, though, so I wasn't dealing like with the inner casino all the time. But well, you know, I didn't realize that, Dave. I know a couple of times I was standing there and I look up. And I'm like, holy shit, man. There's like fucking, you know, there's like a circus act going on in the air. Like, you know, what do they call them? You know, the dude was flipping the chicks and they were jumping on like the rings and it was sort of like above my head. And I swear, Dave, I was there for like a month and I never noticed them until one day. Sort of was like right over me. And I look up, I'm like, holy shit, fuck, this chick's like fucking really, really doing a lot of crazy things up there. But yeah, it's actually, you know what? The Sportsbook is actually pretty good there. Acrobats, that's the word. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little fried. My brain's fried, man. So up all night trying to crunch these numbers in the bracket, Dave. And, you know this. You get asked, and we're going to ask you actually now all these questions. But I was thinking about it. Like, people are asking, what's your upset? What's the seed that's going to knock this seed off? And, I did a show today, and they asked every possible question like that. And I realized it's like asking me, what are all my best bet props, Dave, for the Super Bowl, basically the Monday morning after the fucking conference championship games? But there really is, and it's a challenge for the odds makers too, isn't it, Dave? And that's the beauty of the tournament moving on. So now they sort of, they have time to look at these matchups, but a lot of these matchups, they're fresh. There's only a day in between the games, but there really isn't a lot of time, is there, Dave, to lock in your opinion and to attack this tournament?
No, I mean, from a betting standpoint, a lot of us do so much work to be ready the minute the numbers hit the board. And that's what was so fascinating about this particular Sunday evening. I thought the tournament committee probably had their worst year ever, in terms of who got in the tournament and who didn't. Yet the odds makers and guys behind the counter were razor sharp. I saw Five Dimes as the first to go up offshore. Then a little bit later, there came Chris and Pinnacle and all of the others. Bet Online was up pretty quick. And then here in Vegas, the guys at the South Point and the Golden Nugget went up real quickly. They went up pretty sharp. And something that's becoming an annual event. This was the second time it happened. It's becoming an annual. The owner of the D, of course, goes over to the South Point and first round bets $10,000 on every game. This year, they did it in conjunction with the Golden Nugget. so that he could bet whichever of the two shops offered him the best line.
Let me ask you, Dave.
But these were sharp lines.
Can he not bet? Can he not bet at his own place? Is that the thing?
I mean, he could, but he's got a William Hill book that isn't going to be ready.
See, that's the thing. That's what I don't understand about that with him. Because, yeah, you know, you can. Because I know my buddy Cam tells me that he hangs with the one of the managers and big shots at the El Cortez, and he bets on the horses actually there. So there's not a law that you can't bet at the place you work at, right? Like,
well, no, there is no law. Well, actually, so there might be inside of the relationship, and that William Hill leases a space from the D. So
okay, so he's betting at a Will Hill spot, anyways. Then, yeah,
there might be something awkward there, but also keep in mind, is William Hill going to be sporting enough to let you come in and bet $10,000 every game on the board based on their opener? So they freeze the opening line, and you get to crack 10,000 every game at their opener.
He only was like 10, 24, and 2 last year or something like that, wasn't he?
Over time, he's going to go 50-50, but it's good publicity. It's it's fun action, but it's a way to get a little bit of a churn and get some talk going. My
friend got fucking banned from the D for telling Stevens that he hopes that he loses that $1 million bet on Michigan State. My buddy's a card counter, and he had problems with the D. He liked the D, and he even knew Derek, but I don't know. He crossed the line with Derek, and it's a T-Bone. He's a fucking nut job. So he goes on Twitter. He's like, "Go fuck yourself. I hope the fucking Spartans lose. Fuck, I hate the Spartans. Fuck Michigan State." and then he gets fucking banned from the place.
You got to work hard to get banned down there. But that's another suggestion too, by the way, for people coming into town. Downtown is a whole lot more fun during March Madness than the Strip. You can get around so much easier. So you've got a couple of different books that you can bet into. You've got Boyd, you've got William Hill, you've got Stations, you've got Golden. I think you've got 4 books, 4 different places that you can walk to just within a couple of minutes. If you're on the Strip, getting from place to place just takes so much time. I mean, look at the setup you have, Gabe. You're actually going to have, 3 properties that you can walk to pretty casually from Circus Circus. That's not too bad for shopping.
No, I will have the option. It's one of the reasons why I like it's a great central location. All right, Dave, before we dive in fully to this tournament, Portland Trailblazers and the Miami Heat on the board this evening. 2 basketball teams that have been playing very well as of late.
Portland extremely well. Since the last game before the All-Star break was a home game against Golden State. Starting with that night, 9-0 straight up, 8-1 against the spread. Average margin or total margin against the spread, 77.5. So they've been beating the spread by 8.5 points per game. Yeah, Damian Lillard's playing real well. I mean, his last 10 games, 35.5 points per game. But it's the defense and the rebounding. They are buying in. They believe that they can win. Since the All-Star break, number 2 in the NBA in defense, number 4 in the NBA in rebounding. That team believes in themselves right now. Nurkic obviously made a big difference. That gave them a presence inside they didn't have before. But all of these role players for Portland, and you're seeing this down the street with Toronto. Yeah. You see what happens when role players buy in. When they honestly,
Aminu and Collins and all these guys, you're right. It just adds up.
When you think you can win. But the best example of that in the East, second best in the East, outside of Toronto, has been Miami. Now, once again, Eric Spoelstra up for Coach of the Year. I think 16 different players now have started for Miami. They got a big game Saturday night. Washington's coming to town. No Whiteside, no Wade. They go out and win the game by 27 points anyway. Even with those 2 guys out, they had 11 different players play at least 10 minutes in that game. That's how deep that rotation is. But what it also is, role players who believe they can win. And that's the big, big difference at the top. You can't win without it. We see like the Golden States and the Clevelands the last couple of years because they had dynamic talent. Unless you have dynamic talent, you just have to have everybody buy into what you're doing. It's happening in Portland. It's happening in Miami. I mean, I actually liked Miami early this morning. There was +8 available out there. That's dropped all the way down to 6 now. So the market has actually come in pretty good. I think what the odds makers literally did is I think they were asleep a little bit. When they saw no Whiteside and no Wade, they adjusted against Miami, even though Miami has shown that they can play well without them. So that 8 was too high. The 6 that's sitting out there right now, that's a pretty sharp price.
It is. It's a tough game too, as well. You know, I like Miami. I think Miami can hang around. There should be a track meet here. It's going to be a lot of small lineups, very guard heavy presence. But you're right. Portland have been good, but do you want to be laying these type of points? And Miami have done a great job of next man up. And Kelly Olynyk being back has really made a big difference as well, Dave. This guy's really bringing something to the table now.
Yeah, the thing that I've liked so much about Spoelstra is whatever group he has on a given night, inside of that hodgepodge of Miami uniforms, he finds something that can fit somewhere. So he was underappreciated back when he had Brosh and LeBron and he had Wade. I don't think people realize how well he handled that particular group. But I tell you, it's 2 years in a row. He has just done a terrific job of coaching. Not a huge pressure on Miami right now. It's almost impossible to fall out of the playoffs because Detroit has fallen off so badly. So Miami's pretty sure, even on this road trip, they're pretty sure they're going to make the playoffs. The question is, where are they going to be seated? And this is what's interesting, I think, Gabe. You don't want the number 8 in the East. I don't think anybody wants Toronto in the first round. But I don't think you're afraid of anybody else. I mean, Boston is good, but that's not a team to be afraid of. We don't know who's going to get the number 3 right now. That is so wide open. That could be Indiana. That could be Washington, Cleveland, Philadelphia. It's so wide open. I think Miami would like to play hard enough to just avoid Toronto and be willing to take their chances against anybody else.
So, Dave, let's talk some college basketball right now. You brought up, you think this was the worst job that the committee has ever done with their selections. There was definitely a common theme, though, Dave. It seemed that teams that were named in that investigation, and we don't know how much of it to be true, but teams that were named in the investigation for the most part, Dave, didn't get in. To the tournament. USC were named. They were one of the teams that were sort of heavily named as well. The USC Trojans were named. Louisville, obviously, on the fence. And Louisville always, right on the border of violation city with the NCAA. Notre Dame, ironically, was on that list as well, Dave. I think Notre Dame got screwed. Oklahoma State not getting in, kind of baffling. I don't understand that one. They weren't on the list. No,
they are on the list. Oklahoma State is on the list.
Oh, they are on the list.
Yeah, they are on the list.
Too. Okay, my bad. I should have known that they're there too. Because, there seems to be a common pattern of teams that were on the list, Dave, that didn't get in.
It's hard to find other explanations for it, because if you specifically look at the Pac-12, USC was number 2 in the regular season, got to the Pac-12 championship game.
Yeah, that's criminal that they didn't get in USC. They deserve to be in. Come on, man.
Meanwhile, Arizona State went 8-10 in the conference and lost in the first round of the conference tournament. Now, the one thing the committee has come out and said, and I believe there's going to be such an uproar that they will almost have to change this. They said last night that all games count the same all season long. I don't know any college basketball coaches ever coached that way. November and December, you're trying to get your team ready for conference play. You're actually holding back a little bit. I mean, the one thing we don't want is we don't want coaches to think the committee thinks that way so that the Dukes of the world are out beating teams by 70 points in November. You don't want to see that become where the sport is. So why did they reward Arizona State so well? Well, back in the early part of the season, they beat 2 number 1 seeds, Xavier on a neutral court and Kansas on the road. That looks real good right now, but that was a long time ago. This is not the team that we've seen out here in the Pac-12 over the last month and a half. So that's one thing that will explain. It also explains Oklahoma. Yeah. So they're not treating Oklahoma like a team that went 4-11 down the stretch. They're looking at what they're saying is the total body of work. Well, there's no coach that coaches that way. And when you come to Vegas, talk to the odds makers and the sportsbook directors. I'd say, okay, when you make up your power ratings every day, that people are going to shoot holes into with real money the minute you open. Do you adjust for recent form? And everyone is going, absolutely we do, because teams evolve. What you're supposed to do in a season is get better, show development. So that is one specific flaw that the tournament put in there. The ones that are difficult to understand, though, even in accepting that everything in the season counts the same, I still can't understand St. Bonaventure, because one of the things that got out amongst the sportsbook guys this morning, and it got out on Twitter, and you even see it in a lot of power ratings from handicappers, you've got 11 or 12 NIT teams that would be favored over St. Bonaventure. That almost never happens in the NCAA tournament. You'll see some at larges where you say, 4 or 5 teams would have been favored over them. My power ratings, I got 12 teams that would be favored over St. Bonaventure. So I don't know what the committee saw in that resume that pushed St. Bonnie over the top.
This is one thing, and this is, you've often talked about this over the years, specifically with college football as well. The Vegas odds makers poll, and your own personal, let's say top 25 per se, Dave. And clearly, this is an example where the committee didn't put any stock in teams fading down the stretch, as you stated. And I saw them state that publicly a couple of times, that a win in November is every bit as a win now. They look at the full body of work and all that other type of stuff. So they do that, but us as gamblers, we don't have to do that. I do look at recent body of work here. And not to say that a team there's going to be a team that's going to be successful in the tournament that wasn't lighting it up down the stretch. I think maybe Florida could get hot. They're underachievers, but they're talented enough to beat anybody on any given night. But with that being stated, Dave, we can take advantage of these cold teams. And Rhode Island's not the hottest team right now suddenly. And I look forward to your take on this one. We'll get to that in a second with Hurley, and whether it's a distraction and the tournament and the committee's motives. And it's no coincidence that if Rhode Island wins, they would play Duke. Hurley versus Coach K, right? Is that a massive coincidence? So, the way that they set these the brackets up, there's a lot of feeder that goes into play here, Dave, isn't there?
I'm not sure, because I hear a lot of people talk about it. It's almost impossible to not create a few of those. Just randomly, a few of those were going to happen, because one of them, I actually did a media show this morning. This is, well,
you don't think, and sorry, David, let me just say, and let me just clarify, but you don't think that they're happy with whatever random matchup pops up on television on Saturday, and they don't behind the scenes kind of say, all right, look, this team's going to beat this team, and then this team most likely is going to beat that team. I mean, the guys on a committee are playing God. So in their minds, they know who's going to win. They think they know. I used a comparison today about this. It's sort of like the UFC. They don't have to have a tournament bracket. They sort of know this fighter beats this guy, he'll beat this guy, then he beats him, and then we can have these guys fight for the title. I sincerely do believe, Dave, that they really do take into place the attraction and storylines of these matchups. I sincerely believe it, but I believe a lot of conspiracies.
I don't, in that if they just randomly laid the tournament out, you will always find those matchups anyway. But one of the first things that we heard is, well, they wanted Oklahoma in there because Trae Young will be good for television ratings. Well, if that's true, why did they stick Oklahoma at the 12:15 Eastern game on Thursday afternoon instead of prime time? Because that sort of goes against the grain of that. So, well, they're just looking for television. Look at the late night. Now, this is the last sequence on Thursday. These should be your biggest matchups. Alabama, Virginia Tech, which is not a television draw. Montana and Michigan is not a television draw. You have a play-on winner against Florida. That's not much of a television draw. And how about this one? Here's your television draw from out west, Buffalo and Arizona.
But I think, Dave, the opening round, it doesn't matter. I think you could put, you could put a bunch of flamingos and peacocks on the court, and people would be filling out brackets for it. I think it's when the weekend kicks in, Dave, that they want those matchups, and they want to set up the sort of Sweet 16 and the Elite Eights that they're looking at. Like, I honestly believe it. Like, I look at the Gonzaga-Xavier collision course that these two teams are on. Two mid-major programs. It guarantees that one of them gets pushed to the Elite Eight. I really sincerely believe, Dave, that there's a motive behind everything. But I believe that in everything in life. Like, I think everything is a lie and everything is a setup and purpose. Not a lie, but everything is for a reason. Like, everything. But the reason. There's a reason for everything behind it. I really do think that they're more devious when it comes to putting together the bracket. I sincerely believe it, which doesn't affect the teams that are in it. But, okay, put it this way, Dave. You've got Arizona. Arizona's under investigation. They fucking suspend Alonzo Trier. There's accusations about Miller, accusations about payments to Ayton. These guys are the Pac-12 champs. They're the 4 seed. They have to play Kentucky right away after. They really didn't give them a free pass at all, Dave. I think they are malicious, and I think they are spiteful.
But what did they do with the other 4 seeds? So let's say we're going to say, okay, they don't like Arizona, so they're going to make them go up against Kentucky. Well, guess what? Wichita's a 4 seed. If they win, they got to play West Virginia.
Yeah, I don't think you know what? I think there's a lot of fucking overrated teams in this tournament, Dave.
But I mean, if you look at any of the 4 seeds, they're going to run into somebody tough. That's just the way that it works, inside of these brackets. Arizona against Kentucky, well, that's just sort of the way that it works out there. So who could they have put them up against instead? There's a number 5. They could have put them against Ohio State. That's one of the number 5s that they could have drawn instead. They could have put them up against West Virginia instead of Kentucky. They're both 5s. So they're relatively equal. It's just there's no way to not have matchups look like they're scripted, because you can make the case anywhere out there. This is scripting or this is scripting. It's hard to not have it fall out there that way. The reason I don't think the committee does it, I don't think they're that smart.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think they are smart enough to be able to pinpoint and connect those things out there. I don't think they're that smart. And based on the work they did for this year's tournament, no, I don't think they're very smart at all.
That's what everyone on the Trump campaign says about the collusion. It's like, we didn't even know what the hell we were doing. How could we collude with anybody? Right? We barely could tie our shoelaces.
But you know what? That actually could be an interesting legal defense. It could be an interesting one when the time comes.
San Diego and Hartford, Dave. I'm assuming, did you get any action on this one? We talked about this game earlier in the day today, and I was like, man, I don't know if the Toreros should be favored by 10 points against anybody.
Here's the difficulty. We'll talk about a few teams that are in this boat. Hartford literally, and of course, good thing is, they're in an urban area, so they could get to an airport. But if you look at Hartford and the trip they had to make tonight, and then look tomorrow, the trip Ryder has to make to play Oregon. The trip NC Asheville has to take to play USC. One of the things that you can do for these softer tournaments on Monday and Tuesday, and literally this is serious handicapping. Sit down on Sunday night and go to orbits.com and play around with it to get an idea what these individual schools are up against. Vermont having to play at Middle Tennessee, you don't have nonstops from Burlington to Nashville. So Vermont's got to take 2 planes and then a bus. Think about this for Ryder. Now, Ryder, it looks like you were going to have an hour bus ride.
What's Vermont's airport, Dave? I should know. I'm from Montreal. I was going to say
Burlington.
Burlington, Vermont, right? And I guess Burlington to New York after that, because Burlington doesn't have direct flights everywhere. That's for sure.
No, although it is technically, it is Burlington International, because I think they have shuttles to Montreal, and that's just enough to make it an international airport. Yeah, they would have to fly to New York and then into Nashville. For Ryder, it was going to be a 1-hour bus ride to Newark, a long flight to Portland, and then after you get to Portland, a 2-hour bus ride down to Eugene. Now, that's basically your whole day on Monday, which means unless you get up and have an early morning practice before you take the bus to the airport, or if you get to Eugene in time to find a local junior high gym that you can get into, you actually get drafted into a tournament that you don't even get to practice for the team you're going to play. That's part 1. Part 2, and this is going to be real fun watching in the NIT tomorrow, 4 different rules in the NIT tournament. And none of the teams have really had a chance to practice for them. You're going to have, the lane is going to be 4 feet wider. The 3-point line has been moved back 20 inches from regular. Those are two things that, when you're a player, you instinctively on offense, you know where the 3-point line is. You don't have to look down. If you've played enough years, you know where it is. You can catch, turn, and shoot because you know what's a 3. Well, now you got to look at that, relook at that all over again. So there are so many elements that are going to be changed. When you get an offensive rebound, the shot clock only gets set to 20 seconds, not 30 seconds. So you can't just throw the ball out to midcourt and start dribbling off the clock. You got to get right into something. And the other thing, too, that they will do, again, they'll do 4 10-minute quarters instead of 2 20-minute halves. Free throws after the first 5 fouls in each quarter. But then, like the NBA, the foul count wipes clean. So all this stuff's going on for Ryder, which means when they step on the court tomorrow, maybe the first time they've ever even been on a practice floor with these particular stripes where they are. That was the fear. Now, Hartford did not have to deal with rule changes at San Diego tonight, but they had to deal with one heck of a long flight for kids from conferences that usually don't get on planes anyway. Some of these smaller conferences, you're only on buses. You're never on a plane. So one of the things that I love on these Sunday nights for the NIT, if you're the athletic director, because you don't have a lot of travel agencies open on Sunday nights. If you're Vermont's AD, what you've got to do is, one, is you've got to get a bus to the airport. Second is Vermont and these schools, you can't afford to charter. So you got to fly coach. Well, guess what? If you've got 45 people in your traveling party with your players, your assistants, your trainers, your cheerleaders, what happens if you can't get them all on a plane? And you've got to send them on a couple of different planes.
Cheerleaders stay home, Dave. That's what happens.
And then somebody's got to be there in Nashville to pick you up and take you to Murfreesboro. And then you have to have a hotel ready in Murfreesboro last night, not only ready for rooms, but you got to have a team meal. You got to have a team dinner Monday night, and they got to be able to supply a team breakfast Tuesday morning. So there are all these logistics that these ADs have to nail immediately on those Sunday nights. It makes for a lot of handicapping adventure. So one of the things I've learned to study over time, and so I did want Hartford even at the high line tonight. What if those kids are just tired or long? And also think about this. It's not even halftime yet for the Hartford kids. What's 20 minutes till 11 on their body clocks. So halftime of this game is going to feel like 11 o'clock at night for them.
There could be a 12-2 run coming for the Toreros, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the one that you'll see on NC Asheville has the latest. They will tip off at 11 p.m. on their body clocks at USC. But now let's go into part 2 of these, and it's why you got to be careful with a team like USC, with Notre Dame, with Louisville.
The disappointment factor, yeah.
No, also spring break. And students are such a big part of the home court advantage. That's about 80% of your crowd noise. They're on spring break right now.
And how into our big time program students into the NIT, right? Like the mid-tier NIT, some campuses can get into it. Hey, this is cool. We're on ESPN. This is good. I think some of these big time programs could give 2 shits about the NIT.
The students sometimes will go because it's just something to do. But what you're going to see at USC, and that is a television game tomorrow night, ESPN2, 11 o'clock Eastern. I project the Galen Center, the over-under about 33% capacity, because not only are the students gone, but the locals aren't going to care. If you're in LA and the Lakers are playing the Nuggets on TV, are you going to go over and watch Southern Cal play North Carolina, Asheville? No. So we put this list in today's edition of Point Blank. You can read that at sbrpicks.com. We listen to schools that are on spring break this week, so they lose a little bit. The one that became a big market factor today, story got out that the Louisville players voted to not accept the NIT bid. The school took it anyway, and the school says, look, we didn't know the players had a vote. We were unaware. We had to file this paperwork with the NIT. So now what happens, of course? Well, the game opens 9.5 and it goes down to 7. So, bettors real quickly jumped on that aspect. I didn't get a chance to get much in on that because there were several factors in there. One is Louisville being on spring break. 2 is for Northern Kentucky. That's only a 90-minute bus ride.
Yeah, yeah.
Northern Kentucky's floor leader in assists, best player. He's from Louisville. Their fourth leading scorer played for Louisville as a walk-on last year.
No, this is the type of game that they'll want to win, and Louisville wouldn't schedule type of thing too, right? It's the feather in the cap game. And I should note, though, Dave, it's funny, last year when Michigan, remember they skidded off the runway, and they actually voted not to get back on the plane. And they ended up getting on the plane, and they ended up winning the Big Ten tournament. Not everybody, but it was like half the team was like, I'm not, because they gave them the choice. They said, listen, we cannot play in the Big Ten tournament and just not go because I know everyone's freaked out, Beeline said to them. Or we can fucking, you're going to have to get on a plane again. We get on the plane and we go. And he was like, you guys vote. And the kids voted, and I guess it was pretty much split. Like a lot of them were like, I'm not getting on a fucking plane. Like, I don't give a shit about the Big Ten tournament. I'm not getting on the plane. And I guess it was a couple of the fucking guys on the team said, listen, fuck, we can't pussy out. You got to get on the plane. Let's go. And they did, and they won the tournament after, Dave, right? So, you know, you never really know. But, yeah, I can't imagine the kids on Louisville. So let me ask you, because time's flying by, and I want to get into crunching some of the numbers in the games here. But I saw a thing, Dave, you're talking about travel. It was a Nate Silver piece. And, you know, I think you and I have talked about this in the past. You know, it comes up every year. How much stock do you put in the travel of teams in the NCAA tournament? As the Nate Silver study that I found was from a couple of years ago. So I couldn't find an updated one. But it was a Nate Silver, so it was 530. It's trustworthy. And it was basically that the team that travels less in the NCAA to a site wins 59% of the time outright. Do you buy into this?
Well, the problem is you have to Vegas-ize that. And that part of the reason why you have less travel is you're good and you've earned the right to play closer to home.
So the big money lines and shit come into play then, right? So
yeah. So is North Carolina going to play better because they're in Charlotte? Yes.
So does it matter? Does it matter for Arizona State then? So let's say in Arizona State against the Syracuse, ASU making this trip, which the kids on Arizona State, they get on planes, Dave, but they're not used to Midwest trips. You know, they're traveling around the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast.
It's negligible in that the difference between a 2.5 hour and a 1.5 hour plane ride, I don't think is that big. But I think the problem with the Silver study is it's counting Michigan being in Detroit. It's counting Kansas being in Wichita. It's not realizing that one reason why the teams that traveled further lost is because they're weaker and they're up against teams that earned the right. I actually misspoke. Michigan is in Wichita. It's Michigan State.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what.
Of course, they send us out to fucking Wichita and Michigan State, a team that we beat twice, but whatever. A little spiteful. So let's jump in, Dave. Play-in game tomorrow. Long Island, Radford. I know two teams you don't spend a lot of time crunching the numbers with. For me personally, I don't really understand why Radford's 4.5-point favorites in this game, and there should be some points put up on the board here. LIU like to push the pace. They're not quite as crazy Loyola Marymount as they used to be, but they still play pretty up-tempo.
The Sharps got there. This line actually opened Radford 3.5. This is one really good defensive team, solid fundamentals, real deep. LIU Brooklyn, I have not charted these past tournaments as well as I should have for this particular category, but I believe LIU Brooklyn might be the worst defensive team ever to have made the NCAA tournament. That is a team that just doesn't. I'll pull the current charts out right now on LIU.
Let's go with the over 138.5.
Well, it's going to be a question of pace though, because Radford likes to slow things down. LIU number 294 in the nation. Now there are 351 teams. LIU number 294 in terms of defense. But here's this battle for tempo. LIU number 39 in pace. Radford number 346. Radford wants to grind you. So I think what the early market said is, you know what, Radford is smarter. They play more fundamentally sound basketball. They would grind LIU Brooklyn out. That's why that 3.5 has gone up. And I see U wagers now at 5. So, in fact, U wagers at 5, bet online is 4.5 minus 20. We're going to probably see 5s out there tomorrow. So the Sharps got to Radford early. The question is there become a point where you buy back Brooklyn?
All right, St. Bonaventure. You mentioned St. Bonaventure would be underdogs against numerous teams in the NIT tournament. They're only 3.5-point underdogs against UCLA. I've said this often. I'm a fan of underachieving blue chip prospect teams. They're a dangerous basketball team. They've got some really, really good players. They always have guys with the same name. Fuck, Aflalo, Holiday. It's like there's like a new O'Bannon. There's always like new generations of these kids on UCLA. But they've got some ballers, you know. And Alfred's been here. He's done this before. St. Bonaventure, they won a lot of games. I don't know. I don't think the Atlantic 10's all that great, to be honest with you, Dave. But what do you make of the point spread here? UCLA 3.5, and the total's 155 here.
You talk about the game inside the game. Jalen Adams and Aaron Holiday, the 2-point guards. Gosh, that's good, Gabe. That is one of the best one-on-one matchups of the entire first round. I think it could be one of the better one-on-one matchups of the whole tournament. Holiday scores 20.3, Adams 19.8. They both shoot over 43% for three-point range. They're both really good at the free throw line. They're good with the ball. If there's a window out there, and that's why you got to be a little bit careful with your size charts. When you look at the lineups, it's going to look like UCLA is a lot bigger than St. Bonaventure. UCLA doesn't play as big as they look on paper. That's actually a slow defensive team. One of their prime weaknesses, they don't guard the three-point line well. St. Bonnie can knock down threes. UCLA also number 340 out of 351 teams in forcing turnovers. Adams and St. Bonnie don't turn the ball over. So if you've got an underdog that's not going to turn the ball over, that's going to be able to get open shots and knock down open shots, they're going to be right in the hunt. I think this is a terrific. It might be come down to the last possession. If the markets get to -4 tomorrow, I could see taking a piece of St. Bonnie, not plus a full 4. Again, they're going to lose some of the rebounding just because UCLA is taller, but UCLA is not a physical team. The kids don't throw their weight around the way it might look on the charts. So I think St. Bonnie will break the defense down and get good enough shots to be in the hunt.
All right, Dave, let's hit Wednesday's play-in games. What's your take on Wednesday's games?
Texas Southern is doing once again what Texas Southern has done in the past. We can say, oh, they got a losing record. Why are they in the tournament? Their non-conference schedule, number 1 in the nation. They played 12 games, all on the road, 5 against NCAA tournament teams, 3 against NIT tournament teams, and 2 at high altitude, Wyoming and at BYU. Oh, they went 0-12. Well, I guess what you go 0-12, but you get toughened up. And what Mike Davis has decided is, one, we can make a hell of a lot of money. If we play 12 road games,
he's got to get paid, Dave, right? He's got to make sure he keeps his salary.
He gets paid for every one. So every year,
Davis, Dave, how the fuck is he? How is he so down on the totem pole right now? What did he actually do that was so bad? Like, what was his deal?
It's an awkward thing. It's an awkward thing to say because he wanted Indiana, but one is he didn't win enough. But there was always a bit of a racial aspect that was a part of that.
So but shouldn't he have landed somewhere else besides a Texas Southern?
Well, he got UAB.
Yeah, exactly. And he was good at UAB.
The problem is it's hard to move up from Texas Southern because that one-loss record will be on his resume forever. He doesn't care. Every year it's going to be, okay, look, if we can go out and lose 12 games in a row, pick up a couple of $1 million for the athletic department in losing 12 games in a row, then step down and win our conference, that's a good formula. This is the 3rd NCAA tournament appearance in 4 years.
So you like them here against NC Central, laying the 5?
Now the price is about right because the markets have now caught on. And here's the real problem. Texas Southern, in their conference tournament, won by 14, 14, and 15. So they stepped up and they look good. Here's the issue for NC Central, and I don't think they wanted the play-in game. They had to win 4 games in 5 days to win their conference tournament. Championship game was Saturday. This is a bit of a quick turnaround for what they've been through. So Texas Southern will probably have better legs. They'll be a little more comfortable in the environment. But at 5, it's also no bargain. The markets have caught on to what it is that Mike Davis does. So don't pull your charts out and think, wow, this is a team with a losing record. Why are they here? No, non-conference schedule, number 1 in the nation. That's sort of why they're here. It's their formula. So they're going to probably do this about every other year, is have a losing team but be in the NCAA tournament.
Arizona State and Syracuse both raised some eyebrows with their selections here, Dave. So you have Arizona State flying cross country into Dayton. Syracuse were a surprise team that made it. What was your take on Syracuse making a tournament? And really, Dave, this sort of simplifies it, doesn't it? To come down to how does Arizona State deal with the Syracuse zone? Do they shoot the three ball well enough? And, I'm looking at their three ball numbers. Most of their kids are, not bad, 38%, 37%, etc. But, is the shot going to fall for them? Seems like those rims are kind of friendly in Dayton, that they help the kids out a little bit here. It is a college gym at least. But, how do they match up with Syracuse and that zone? And what's your take on these teams even being in a tournament?
It's going to be a problem for Arizona State in that they've got really good guards, scrappy veterans. You got Holder, you got a lot of experience, but their guards are a little bit short. And Syracuse has tremendous wingspans out in front of their zone this year. And that's why I think when people go to handicap Syracuse, you want to make sure that you're understanding the team properly. So many times we think about a zone as something that sits back. Syracuse doesn't. They were number 18 in the nation in steal percentage. Now, you think about full court pressing teams for that, not a zone team. Number 2 in the nation in block shot percentage. This is a real athletic defense. The problem for Arizona State, they like to beat you off the dribble. They like to drive and get to the foul line. This season, they were actually number 15 in the nation at ratio of free throw attempts to field goal attempts. That doesn't work against Syracuse. You can't drive on that zone. They did get a look at this. Now, again, it's only one game, but it shows you where a problem could be. They played Washington. Washington coached by Mike Hopkins, the Syracuse assistant. He plays the same 2-3 zone that Jim Boeheim plays. Well, guess what? It was Arizona State's worst offensive game of the season out there. That's a problem. So the one time they did have to go up against the zone, their guards struggled. I think their guards struggle with the size of the Syracuse guards. If this gets, there's been a little Arizona State money. If it keeps going, if it gets up to maybe a 2.5 or so, I could see Syracuse being a pinch of value. Pinnacle's up to 2 right now. When Penny goes to 2, others will be inclined to follow. I thought the opening of Pick'em was probably a lot more right. So I'm not in love with Syracuse in terms of quality, but in terms of the style matchup, Arizona State might have a tough time attacking this defense. This is not the game Trey Holder wants. Trey Holder wants to drive to the basket and get fouled. Trey Holder doesn't want to pull up and try to make a 22-foot jumper.
All right, Dave, I asked guys in the chat right now because they're asking about certain games. So I told them, all right, fire off a couple of games, and I'll ask Dave about these games. I'll start first, Dave. I know I'm not alone on this one. Everyone talks about the 12-5 upsets, but you look at it from an ATS perspective, Dave, going back nearly 10 years since 2010 or so, 8 years, Dave. The 12-5 matchup, the underdog has covered at a nice rate, 24-12-2 against the spread. We're looking at South Dakota State here against Ohio State. It almost feels too good to be true getting the 8 here, Dave, and it's almost too obvious that this is the one. But I honestly believe I'm not one of these seed guys. I fucking hate that stuff because, this seed and who's going to knock off in the Cinderella crap. Guys, 16 of the last 17 champions have been a 1, 2, or 3 seed. All right, Cinderella doesn't motherfucking exist. That's a fairy tale. You want Cinderella, go to Disney World. But when you add it all up, Dave, Ohio State are a vulnerable basketball team. They're good. They've got NBA talent, but they turn the ball over a lot. They go through scoring droughts. I can see them having a hard time dealing with South Dakota State, who aren't going to be intimidated by these guys. Mike Dom's not going to be intimidated. The team's not going to be intimidated. They really push the tempo. They score like 83 points a basketball game, Dave. Am I out of line in liking the Jackrabbits plus the points here?
No. I thought Ohio State peaked early this year. People wondered why they came out of the gate so well. Well, there's a particular reason. This is an unusual mix Ohio State has. 3 of their top 6 players have already graduated. That's a rare level of maturity to have in college basketball. You got 2 starters and Dockage off the bench, already graduated. So they were ready to play early. This was a mature seasoned team. The problem is the physical talent simply hit a wall. They played as well as they could early in the year. There wasn't room to get any better. So I could see Ohio State being a little sluggish here, but we want to tell people, be careful with the 12-5 stuff. There's no correlation between 12s one year and 12s the next.
Exactly.
So it's just a random thing that has happened. Now, here's the problem, and make sure you understand this is a big handicapping point. Random things tend to ultimately regress, not continue. There's no reason why 12s have covered 2/3 of the time against 5. So guess what? 20 years from now, we're going to look back at 30 years of history, and it's going to be about 50-50. There's just nothing behind it. So if you like it's on its own merit. I think we can like it on its own merit. I think Ohio State they peaked early. They were more mature than other teams early in the season, but then they just couldn't get any better because the talent wasn't there to get any better.
And when I capped the games, Dave, when I looked at the board, I don't even care what seed it is. You know what I mean? Exactly. You know, when I'm looking at the games that catch my eye, you know, like Michigan, Montana. I like the over. Michigan's the 3 seed. I don't even know what fucking seed Montana is. What are they? 12, 11, whatever the fuck it is, 13. I don't know. I don't care. Right? Exactly. I'm looking at the game. So let me ask. We got some games that people are firing off at us right now. All right, Alabama and Virginia Tech. Intriguing one. The Colin Sexton show arrived in the second half against Auburn. I'll pull a Dick Vitale. The Colin Sexton show arrived in the second half, baby. So I used to do a better Vitale. I've lost it, fuck. So Alabama and Tech. What do you make of this one, Dave? Fun basketball game here.
See, you are getting old. So what you're doing now is you're doing the old Vitale.
Yeah.
10 years ago, you could have done the young Vitale. You actually did a good Vitale, but it's the old one.
Yeah, you're right. I'm like a mellow, beaten down Vitale. You're right. Colin Sexton, baby, he's the real deal. He's a diaper dandy. He took over in the second half against Auburn.
Let me throw one quick thing out on Michigan, by the way, because we had just talked about that briefly. Talked all year about how much better that defense was. Final season ratings are in pre-tournament. How about number 4 in the nation in defense, which is so rare for them. It was Virginia, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, and Michigan, the 4 best defenses in the country. I actually like Virginia Tech a little bit here. I like the fact they got out of their conference tournament so much fresher than Alabama. And you can see the Alabama kids were gassed against Kentucky. So they had been extended a little bit too far. So Tech is a more mature team. I think they're going to be a fresher team. I think they will be loose and confident, and I trust their end game a little bit more. And guess what? Now, what everyone expects Colin Sexton to step up.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Buzz Williams has just had a week to be game. Not quite a full week, but a lot of time to game plan.
Pretty physical on Tech too, Dave. You're right. They're watching tape. Fuck, Sexton's got a fucking target on his back, man.
He's got a target on his back, and when you coach in the ACC, you're used to going up against great point guards all the time. Now, it was a different ACC this year. This is the one rare season the ACC didn't have a lot of great point guards, but Buzz Williams knows how to have his defenses play physical. So I actually like Tech a little bit in that one.
Butler, Arkansas.
Let's start a theme here. I don't like the SEC as much as the tournament committee did. I think the SEC looked better this year, not because the good teams were great. It's because the horrible teams were average. So the league got better from the bottom up. In these close games, I will take Virginia Tech to outlast in Alabama. I will take Butler to find more ways to outlast in Arkansas. And I'll tell you one of the real keys to that particular matchup, Arkansas likes to live off of defensive pressure. Who is one of the very best teams in the nation at taking care of the basketball? The Butler Bulldogs. They're number 28 in the nation in turnover rate on offense. That is real good when you look at the schedule that Butler was up against. So Butler takes care of the ball. If you take care of the ball against Arkansas and you force them to score without getting into transition, Arkansas could go out and shoot a lot of blanks.
Murray State, West Virginia. That's a 12-5 right there, Dave. Is the spread too high, or is the press Virginia going to be too much for the Racers?
This one gets real interesting to me because I actually wrote a thing in Point Blank about West Virginia back in January that was real stupid. Said, let's go buy West Virginia to win the NCAA tournament at times right. And now the second half of the season, their presses were terrible because the Big 12 this year was loaded with good guards that could go right through those presses. Now what happens when West Virginia steps down in class? Those presses might be fine against Murray State. They might completely demoralize Murray. It's just that the Big 12 point guards, when you look at Young, you look at Graham, you look at Keenan Evans, there were so many terrific backcourt players that sliced West Virginia up. Murray State doesn't have that. So I think this is when, if people say, oh, West Virginia is not as good as we thought they were, no, this might be the window where West Virginia can reestablish those presses again.
Last game, Dave, and then we'll sort of put you on the hot seat for a couple of sort of future picks. North Carolina State versus Seton Hall. This is an interesting game, Dave, in which Seton Hall, third straight tournament appearance. So they've got kids that, Rodriguez and the other kids. These guys have been there, man. This is their third tournament in a row. What's your take? This is an interesting basketball game. I totally agree as far as the SEC is concerned, but with that being stated, I think Tennessee can go on a little bit of a run. And I'm not even that big of a Vols guy, but I'm just looking at the teams that they play and the matchups that they have. So it wouldn't shock me if Tennessee made it to the Sweet 16, but I'm in agreement with you. I think the SEC is a football conference. But ACC, I do have respect for, but Seton Hall, the experience, sort of tough kids here, Dave, that have been there before. This is a fun basketball game. What do you make of this one?
I wondered for most of the season why Seton Hall wasn't better because I expected so much more out of that team. And they hit this lull early February. They lost 4 games in a row. But since then, they've only lost 2 games. They lost to Villanova by 1 in overtime, and they lost to Butler by 1 on a putback at the buzzer. And it's a Butler team they had just beaten, a few days prior to that, the final game of the regular season. Could it be that Seton Hall has started to kick their game in and they're ready? So here's your classic game. And we like to bet this one in the tournament. Pick 'em game, tied with 2 minutes left. Give me the team that's tougher and more experienced than the other to figure it out in the last 2 minutes. I thought Seton Hall would be that team this year. They weren't for a big part of the schedule. But I think when the tournament started to come around, I saw them elevate a little bit. So give me Seton Hall to out-tough NC State. Again, a bunch of kids who've been here who will not be bothered by this setting in any way. The NC State kids, the coaching staff, this is all new for them. You can see some nerves out of NC State.
All right, I promise this is the last game. And it's an interesting one. From a matchup standpoint, San Diego State, the Aztecs. And, great job. Great to see Steve Fisher there. Man, New Mexico, man, they went on a hell of a run too, man. New Mexico nearly getting in to the tournament. But this is going to be a fun game. Houston versus San Diego State, Dave. It's just stylistically, it's intriguing, these two teams.
Well, San Diego State got healthy down the stretch, played good basketball, and they had a marvelous draw here in the Mountain West. They got this great draw against Nevada on Friday when Nevada just didn't care. Nevada was shorthanded. They had a couple of kids hurt. I believe if you could get Eric Musselman in a quiet room somewhere, no cameras, no mics, and say, Coach, are you glad you lost last Friday? I think he was glad. Get his kids home, get them rested. So it made San Diego State look better, perhaps, than they really were. So they drew a Nevada team that didn't really want to be there, and New Mexico was just gassed.
Yeah.
By the time they played New Mexico, New Mexico's kids are still in the locker room, midnight Friday night, and they got to come back and play 3 o'clock the next afternoon. That's a terrible, terrible setting for them. So I don't think San Diego State has made strides quite that far. The problem with Houston, they really worked their tails off in a conference tournament, and a tournament that extended to Sunday. So the Saturday game against Wichita State went right to the final possession. The Sunday game against Cincinnati, right to the final possession. Can you get your legs back in time? Or is that sequence, playing those teams that tough? You're talking about a number 2 and a number 4 seed, back-to-back days, both games go to the last shot. That's a grinder. That is a real tough grinder to get through. So I don't like San Diego State as much as others in the market. I wish Houston, though, was playing somebody else where I could take better advantage of this. I think the Houston kids might have a tough time regenerating. I think they got a raw deal having to play Thursday. And there should be one of these inherent deals in with the committee. If your conference tournament ends Sunday, you play Friday. So I thought that Houston was given a raw deal. I think they're having to come back and play too early. Maybe where this one works, we might look under. San Diego State will be hard-pressed to score. They want to play slow. Houston, we might see some tired legs offensively for them. Possibly an under, but I wish Houston was playing almost anybody else. But here's your dream matchup, though. If Houston wins Thursday, I think they get annihilated by the Wolverines. So there's your Saturday matchup, Gabe. I think Michigan.
Yeah, but what if it's San Diego State, Dave? Of course, man. The San Diego State coach was the assistant with the Fab Five and Fisher.
Well, you can be sure Fisher will be sitting right behind the San Diego State bench.
Yeah, he will Michigan.
He will be sitting right behind that bench.
Dutcher, he'll be with old Dutcher there.
But I think here's the magic, though, for Michigan is that one is you got that great time off since winning at Madison Square Garden. 2 is your draw is pretty good here. You get Montana.
Dave, is it though? Like we've got to get to me the winner of, and we'll jump in because we can go on all night, and me and Dave will speak on the radio again tomorrow. But to me, Dave, the winner of Michigan, North Carolina is going to the Final Four. But I'm not overly happy that we got to deal with North Carolina and then probably I think Xavier overrated. I think Gonzaga knocks them off. So I think Michigan gets there. We beat North Carolina. Then we got to play Gonzaga after the fact. But do you like that Michigan versus North Carolina matchup?
Well, who else are you going to play in the Sweet 16? I mean, when I look at my bracket, and I will have
I was hoping for Radford, Dave. Come on, the pass.
I will have my bracket posted in the point blank column tomorrow. The potential candidates in the Sweet 16 that I have, the other teams I will have there: Villanova, West Virginia, Texas Tech, Purdue, Kansas, Auburn, Michigan State, Duke, Virginia. Do you want to play those teams or play North Carolina? You know, when you get to the Sweet 16, that's about the level you're. But here's what I do believe, though. If you get past North Carolina, I think Xavier or Gonzaga in the Elite Eight is one of the easier draws that you could have. So I think Michigan gets out of this first weekend real comfortably. They're going to just grind Montana out. But I think they match up real well against Houston or San Diego State. So I think it's a great opening weekend for Michigan.
All right. So, Dave, I was going to ask you for the Final Four, but Dave's a pro. He's been around a while. And that's what we call a tease in this business. So, Dave's teasing you and telling you if you want to see Malinsky's bracket to help you fill out your pool, then you check out his column tomorrow, sportsbookreview.com. I look forward to it, Dave. And you'll look forward to it for one particular reason. Michigan in San Antonio. Michigan. The team. I like where you're going with that, Dave. No, I just said going to San Antonio. That's all. That's Michigan will make it. Yes. San Antonio. Yeah, you know what? I've actually had the same thing. You know, I'm going. So I'll see you in a couple of days, Dave. Dave, we'll see you. Hopefully, we'll cross paths. I'll give you a call at one point or another. I'll make it down to the Westgate at some point or at time. But man, Michigan's in the Final Four. Fuck, eventually I got to take in one of these Final Fours, but not really in a hurry to go to San Antonio, Texas. But we'll play it by ear. San Antonio's not bad. No, it's not bad. I know. But why can't they have like the Final Four in like fucking Dodger Stadium or something? No, I'll tell you when you will enjoy it. After the Raiders Stadium has been built for a couple of years. Oh yeah. And Vegas by like 2025, when Vegas is. No, I hope you enjoy your trip. I know you actually be staying about 1.5 miles from me, so it's not too far. Of course, you know the drill. From opening tip off on Thursday,
until the final game on Saturday, I don't leave the house for a whole lot. My house is built for tournament watching. So I don't get out of here much, but we'll find a little window in there, probably sometime on Saturday, because you've only got those 2 standalone early games. A nice window on early Saturday.
Hate that crap. Yeah, and the weather's going to suck too. That's interesting. It's not Vegas-like weather. It's going to be sort of a little cool and rainy this weekend in Vegas.
Yeah, let's give that warning too, since we probably have a lot of listeners who are coming out. This is not shorts and sandals and bring your trunks, and you don't expect to be spending Saturday and Sunday morning by the pool before the games start. No, Vegas is going to be upper 50s. Windy, chance of rain. All you want to do is bet and drink anyway. And of course, as we've talked about before, Gabe, your bakery tour, your first annual Las Vegas bakery tour. So you're going to be able to talk about chocolate chip cookies and brownies and all that assorted stuff by the time you get back to Toronto.
Always a pleasure, Dave. We'll speak to you tomorrow on the radio show.
Hey, good luck, everybody.
There's Dave Morency. Read his column. You can get his bracket tomorrow in his column. On the front page of sportsbookreview.com, but you already know that. 34-25 right now, high scoring. For the record, yeah, we're on the Blazers. Blazers Heat over the number, and the Portland Trailblazers were laying too many points, I thought, but it came down. We got it earlier in the day at 6.5. I posted it at 7. My apologies. We jumped into this game, but whatever. You get the Miami Heat now at 9.5. Fuck, I was willing to take them at 7. So if you want to take them at 9.5, but Whiteside and Dwayne Wade are out. As I stated, we went really crazy. We bet a lot over the last, week or so. It's been a real, the whole season was real push through the conference tournament. I'm sort of, exhaling right now. We're going to be in Vegas in about 48 hours. We're going to start locking in the plays that I'm going to take. So I concentrated more. It's a light night in the NBA tonight. It was an ugly night tonight, even for fantasy purposes, ugly night. NHL, there were a lot of big favorites this evening. So, we got those games tomorrow. Dave raised very interesting points as far as LIU and Radford, as far as the stylistic matchup of these two teams, in which, Radford plays as slow as a team that you would think called Radford. When you picture Radford, you picture slow. And LIU, man, these motherfuckers push the tempo. They used to be really crazy. They've slowed it down a little bit, but they're still pretty damn fast, as Malinsky alluded to, the 39th quickest tempo in college basketball. So it's sort of a battle of wills, but to me, and, I don't really, the market like Radford, I look at this, and to me, you got two crappy fucking teams. I just sort of lean with the underdog in these spots, but I do think that Texas Southern on another level than NC Central. Not best bets by any stretch of the imagination. Looking at that UCLA St. Bonaventure game, also very tough. UCLA are dangerous, but UCLA are also capable of getting knocked out immediately. And we're going to talk about this throughout the evening, and I respect everybody's opinions. I respect, people know a ton of shit about this stuff, but specifically about the teams. But to me, history repeats itself, all right, over and over. So when I look at these games, history repeats itself. And to me, I don't believe in certain teams. And one thing I think it is a problem for both Arizona State. I think it's a problem for Arizona State to be going to the Midwest right now to play this basketball game. I think it's just easier for Syracuse. I think there's more in variables. You're taking these kids out of their time zone. We've had this debate before. I think it was with I don't know, who was it with? I think it was with Big Man on campus. We talked, remember? So it was either Donnie or Big Man. Somebody was saying, one of them agreed with me, and one of them really vehemently said, no, it doesn't matter, the early morning games and shit. It does matter. You take these West Coast kids, you put them in different time zones, you put anybody in different time zones. Malinsky talked about it. Some of these kids are going to be playing at fucking midnight and shit. I think that's easier for them because they're up fucking hitting on chicks on Tinder all night anyways. But when you take a West Coast team and you guys are tipping off at 4:35 on a fucking Wednesday afternoon, I think it does throw them off a little bit. They're in fucking Ohio. It's a different variable for them. So it'll be something to keep our eye on. Now, I will share my Final Four with you this evening, and I'll give you a lot of the notes that I came up with when breaking down the tournament, some upset specials along the way. I completely do agree with Dave Morency that when I do agree with Dave Morency though on a lot of things about this tournament. Now, one thing I was going to say, I agree with him on the sense that the 12-5 thing, is it an anomaly? I don't know. You know, to me, it's not so much an anomaly. To me, I think too much is made of the seeds. And I am one of these people that believes as well, whatever, man. You got to beat who you got to fucking play. You're going to play tough teams. You're going to play tough teams. It is what it is. So I'm not one of these people that panics about, oh, Michigan wasn't a 2 seed. I think 3 seed was a fair seed for Michigan, actually. So I don't really panic about seeds all that much. Look, Arizona are a 4 seed. Arizona don't have an easy run here. Fuck. Arizona, the Pac-12 champs, they've got to deal with Kentucky. You know, down the road, they got to deal with a fucking Virginia after the fact. So nobody's really getting a free pass. I think Villanova, when it's all said and done, really does have the easiest path there. So I will say, and Joey Odessa, who's a great MMA odds maker, we wish him the best right now. He's having some health issues. So, you know, shout out to Joey. But Joey always says that when you're betting on an MMA fight, you're betting on a UFC fight or whatever, don't bet on it because of the odds. And people often do this. We do it with football betting. Well, I don't really like this guy, but, you know, he's plus 160. You know, so what are you saying? You think that he's going to lose the fight, but you're sort of fucking throwing a fucking coin into a fountain, wishing and praying and hoping that he might win because of the odds. And then you lose your money after, and you say, well, I didn't really love it, but, you know, I couldn't refuse him at plus 160. We see it all the time in baseball. You know, well, I don't really love this team, but I couldn't refuse them at plus 140 or whatever. You know, you have to refuse it if it's not a good bet, right? So don't bet on a fight because of the odds. Bet on a fight if you think that they can win the fight. And a similar situation, I wouldn't just say, oh, I'm going to blindly bet all the 12 seeds because there's been a history of 12 seeds and the upsets. But we can't overlook the fact that since 2009, 12 seeds are 24-12 against the point spread. And my whole deal with this is everyone makes such a big deal about these fucking seeds when there really is not that much of a fucking difference between a 12 seed and a 5 seed in the caliber of team. You know, the 8 and the 9 seed and all this stuff. You know, there's a ton of parity. You know, remember in the old days, guys, the 1 seed versus the 16 seed, the 1 seed versus the 16 seed, the point spread would be like 30 points. I remember Duke literally laying like 36 and a half. Like I remember like, you know, I'm talking like 1990s and shit, late 80s, early 90s. Vividly, I can recall like thinking, fuck, do I really want to lay 32 and a half with Kansas? You know, it really was those days. You know, Kansas versus Hampton in the old days would be minus 35. Fuck. Now, Kansas versus Penn, 14. That's the second lowest 1 versus 16 seed in the history of the NCAA tournament. I think Oral Roberts was getting 12 against Memphis in 2012. So the parity, the gap definitely has closed so much to the point where I think one of these days you could see a 16 beat a 1. You know, honestly, like Penn could hit a million fucking threes and Kansas could choke, you know? It used to be like there's no way in fucking hell that team is winning, like the 1 versus 16. There's no way in hell. It's never happened. But I think it eventually will happen because I think the gap in these seeds are sort of closing a bit. But as far as the 12-5 upsets are concerned, I'm not betting these blindly because I think, oh, I'm going to blindly bet the 12-5. I don't think Ohio State should be 8 fucking point favorites against the Jackrabbits. Why are they 8 points? It's too high. It was even higher. It was too high. Ohio State, I'm gonna run down the teams, guys, and I'm going to tell you, fucking 90% of these teams fucking suck, man. They're all frauds. Xavier, a 1 seed? Come on. Come on. Yeah, Xavier's a 1 seed, and I'm going to win the people's fucking most attractive man this year. The 1 seed. Yeah. Xavier are one of the top 4 teams in the country. In what fucking country? What? And what country? Turkey? I don't know. Maybe. Not even. Fuck. I don't know. Yeah, I guess they'd be top 4 in the Turkish league. Maybe. like in what country? In what world are fucking Xavier one of the top 4 fucking teams? Oh, Xavier there. Oh, Xavier. Fuck Xavier, man. I got nothing against Xavier. Good for Chris Mack. And you know what? And fucking blew it and shit. Good for them. They're a nice team, nice program. Fucking number fucking 1 seed. Yeah, come on. 1 seed. My fucking ass 1 seed. Xavier, fuck. Yeah, they're a top 4 team in the country. Fuck. Yeah. Fucking Rwanda. Yeah, he's dropped Xavier in the Rwandan league, and I guess they're a top 4 team in the country. Not to pick on Xavier, but can you guys agree with me? Who the fuck is Xavier? Michael Porter will not be lit. Michael Porter's rusty. The kid hasn't played, and Missouri's fucking second leading scorer and rebounder just got busted for drunk driving. He's out. Florida State wins. What's up, Shell Dog? We're going to see Shell Dog in Vegas in a couple of days. Look forward to it, bro. So you hear Dave Malinsky saying it's a little cool in Vegas. Might be an opportunity. Hey, Shell Dog, I might have to go old school here. A little cool in Vegas. Got to represent the blue. Yeah, so it's too big for me though. it's too big. Oh, I can't shrink it because it's one of these Stephen Barry's fucking jackets. This thing's more flammable than a Chinese fucking firecracker. Like me doing this is like risking death right now. I shouldn't even be joking about this. Like if I put this a little too close, like I think it would explode in like a fireball. Man, you remember that store, Stephen Barry's? This jacket was like fucking $6. It's fucking flammable as fuck. I had one of my Stephen Barry's jackets just sort of catch fire once. Like it was fucking sitting near a radiator. I look over, I'm like, holy fuck, man, the jacket's starting to smoke. It's like highly flammable shit, man. No, I know, Brooks. I was joking about it at first. Then I'm like, you know what? This shit really could just explode in my face. Fuck. I'm not kidding. I had a Stephen Barry's fucking Army football jacket. I had it like fucking sitting near a radiator, and the fucking thing went up, man. It was like poof, fucking. I was like, holy shit. It fucking had this weird smell. I'm like, what the fuck, man? We had Chinese newspapers in front of this in this jacket. I feel for you, Brooks. The USC Trojans got fucking fucked, man. The USC Trojans got fucked. I would blame O.J. Simpson. I blame O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson's out. He went to USC, and they were like, you know what? Fuck O.J. We're not letting, we don't want O.J. showing up at these games. O.J.'s interview, if I did it. It's like, listen, O.J., for the record, that interview is a couple of years old, but it's like, listen, O.J., you don't have to do an interview if you did it. We fucking know you did it. If you did it. We know you did it. What do you mean if you did it? We know you did it. Yeah, college football. I can't wait either, Matthias. Remember that FAU fucking remember that FAU future I gave at the IFBC, over 4.5 wins. They won fucking 11 games. Now that's exactly right, Chell Dog. If you look at the teams that didn't get in, they were all on that fucking list. I didn't realize Oklahoma State was on the list too. They were all on that list of violations. So exactly. The committee knows this shit. They're like, fuck Enfield. We're going to put him in the tournament. He's already a multi-millionaire. This fucking Enfield's rich, right? With that computer shit. He's got like a fucking penthouse pet as a wife. And they're like, fuck this guy. We're not going to put him in a fucking tournament when we fucking damn well know we're going to fucking hit this guy with violations next year. Look at the Pac-12 as a whole, though. Look at the Pac-12 as a whole, only getting 3 teams into the tournament. Now, listen, I like Arizona, Shell Dog. I like Arizona. I think Arizona playing with that chip on their shoulder with the FBI stuff with Miller. Alonzo Trier's been fucked with a couple of years in a row by them. Aiton's a fucking beast. But the thing is, we say this every year about Arizona. Arizona are the West Coast version of fucking Kansas. That's who Arizona are. Every year. When is there a year that Arizona doesn't look good going into a tournament? They always look good. The Arizona Wildcats are like a fucking NFL teaser. It always looks good before the game. Oh, how can this lose? I got a plus 14. That's the Arizona. Arizona are like the West Coast version of Kansas. They always look good going into the fucking tournament. And we can't overlook the fact, guys, that a team from the Pac-12 has not won the NCAA tournament since 1997. That's a long fucking time. I had hair back then. I was in Homicide playing the Montreal Spectrum in 1997. Look it up. It's online. So seriously, that was the fucking last time they won. The Pac-12. The Pac-12 has not won in like 30 fucking years, guys. Think about that. Think about it. 31 years. Hard to believe that it's been that long. That even 1997 is 31 years ago. But instead of feeling old, I'm just going to be glad I'm alive. But they haven't won, not just Arizona, guys. The Pac-12. The Pac-12 conference has not won, not just Arizona. The Pac-12 has not won an NCAA title since 1997. And it's not like they were racking them up before that either. They haven't made the championship game since UCLA lost to the Florida Gators in 2006. It's been 12 years since they made it to the championship game, this conference. So it's hard for me to say, oh, Arizona. It's like, yeah, you know, like I said, every tournament, every fucking year, Arizona looked good. "21 years, sorry. I was thinking 87. Hey, I was thinking 87. Yeah, I'm like Betsy DeVos, like Demetrius Davis. I'm like Betsy. I went to a school in Michigan. What can I tell you? I don't know why I was thinking 1987 for some reason. I was thinking 87. So, yeah, they're not winning. 1997, they haven't made it since 2006. They could beat Virginia, though. Now, who is it asking me here? Jawan's asking me about my Final Four. We got to build up the drama a little bit. So listen, we'll take a quick break. We're going to jump in. I'm going to run through some trends for the tournament to keep your eye on, some teams, some opening round games that I like. What's confirmed? What, Arizona, 1997? Yeah. My math is a little bit off because I'm fucking tired. But yeah, trust me. It's 1997. They haven't won. I got to tell you, though. I'll tell you, Rosa. This is, I like my bracket and I like my picks. Like, I swear to God, I'm looking at a ton of teams in this tournament where I'm like, you guys suck, fuck, all right? You're not winning jack shit. You're going to get eliminated, and I'm going to make money on it. Settle down, Jabron. We're getting to some picks. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We'll go through each region, and I'll give you some best bets, take questions on games, and we'll look at some of the future odds and stuff. You know, one thing I was saying, I was going to look at if you look at the regional odds, they're sucker bets. See, like Montreal Max sent me a tweet today with all his future bets, these regional bets. If I was Montreal Max, I would fucking tweet him. You know, you would have got more value rolling over on a money line. Because yeah, like Villanova to win the fucking bracket is plus 125. Whatever, man. Fucking when they play in the Elite Eight game and get to the Final Four, what are they going to be favored by? 3, 4? You know, like you roll that money over, you're going to make more than plus 125 on it. Because even me, I was tempted by Kansas, and I'm like, man, it's not enough. Fuck, I can just bet the money lines. You know what, Bruce? I actually did win one. I played 3 prop tickets last night, and I won one of them. And the funny thing is, I didn't think I won. I got so fucking mad that Lonzo Ball was on 6 assists. I didn't know he got the 7th assist. I actually gave up. Not on him, but I didn't realize the combination, whatever. I was in a bad mood after last night, and so I didn't really know. So I looked, and I actually won because of my reasoning. If you remember, Kyle Kuzma was 14.5 points online at the sports books, but he was 13.5 with Proline. And I said, you know what? I'll play this because of the value. I won that because of that, dude. He scored 14 points. So you would have lost online, and I won the Proline. I put $30 on it. It paid me back $132. So it's not that bad, but I did play 2 other ones. But I only put 20 on the 2 other ones. Okay, give me a quick minute, guys. But yeah, thanks for asking, Bruce. We did win it. No, I wasn't freaking because I was pissed. I didn't think I was mad about the 3-point shots. I fucking hate the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers fucking suck. I could sit here and rip LeBron James and the Cavaliers for 3 hours if you wanted. That's the thing, Stooch. We got to back off these fucking props, bro. You know what we got to do? We hit that Durant one in game. We can't bet these pregame props, dude. The numbers are too sharp. We've seen it. I've learned my lesson. Look, you lost with Kuzma. We lost the other night together with that fucking bullshit with Vucevic at 17.5 when he was at 17. Tobias Harris is at 21 fucking points with 9 minutes left, and he doesn't fucking play. It's fucking bullshit, man. I'm tired of it. All right, so give me a quick minute, quick break, bong break, bathroom break, water break, and then we'll jump in. We'll start talking about the games, and I'll promise, Jabron, I'm going to share my fucking Final Four with you. And you asked about my college basketball bracket pool. It's $100 to get in. Winners first place and second place. I fucking knew the Lakers are going to win last night. I told the guys on the show, Lakers. I'm buying in, Shal Dog. Lakers are for real, bro. They're starting to come on. I got some good shit here for you, though. I got some good shit for you here, though. We talk about the ingredients that you need to win this tournament. Who has them, who doesn't. Listen, the first round odds are a little tough, but there's a few games that jump off the screen at me. But ultimately, as the tournament moves on, I think we're going to be able to do well betting against some of these teams like Purdue, Xavier, Cincinnati. Cincinnati are fucking terrible. All right. They're frauds, man. Cincinnati's a fucking 2 seed. Yeah. Cincinnati has a hard time cracking 55 fucking points, man. They're gonna be in tough. Good call, Cam Rafa. All right, quick break. We'll be right back and we'll hit this shit. Man, the Oklahoma City Thunder suck. Fuck. These guys are unbelievable. Everything's a struggle for them. All right. I'm looking at my DraftKings right now. I'm actually in 590th place out of 6,000 people as we speak in the NBA $70,000 sharpshooter. I'm in the sharpshooter. As it is now, I'm up $12. I'm winning $12. But I'm pretty much, I still have a few players still playing here too. I had Russell Westbrook. He had 50 DK points. Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe was all right, 32. He sort of delivered. A couple more would have been all right. Costa Koufis was one of my plays. That was nice. He was cheap, like 19 DK points. Corey Brewer was dirt cheap, $3,700, scored 31.5 points. I like that. I'm on Zach Collins right now, only owned by 1.2% of the people. He's got 16 fucking DK points at the half. I need these motherfuckers to go off here in the second half. So who do I have playing still? I've got James Johnson on the Miami Heat. He's got 14 DK points, and Zach Collins has 16. I don't know, man. I need one of these miracles where fucking James Johnson hits like fucking 5 3-point shots and shit. And the money will go up. One of these nights, I'm going to hit this fucking thing. I'm more consistent now. I'm winning like before I used to lose. I'd play and I'd lose. Now I play DraftKings and I always get my money back and I win the head-to-heads. But one of these fucking nights, I'm going to hit one of these $70,000 fucking tournaments, man. I'm going to fall ass. You got to play, right? You don't have a choice. You don't have to play. So, yeah, I can't lie about this game, guys, right now. I don't have a good feel for it. Fuck. Miami are kind of beaten down. It wouldn't surprise me if Miami quits. So I'm not in a hurry to jump on the second half over, to be honest. They seem tired and beaten down a little bit. But anyways, I want to focus in on the tournament. We're not going to be here on Wednesday night, guys. So we have tonight and tomorrow night. We'll see if Urbano will step up and in tomorrow night instead of Wednesday night with us tomorrow to do his hit. I saw he was here earlier. All right, so there's an ingredient in Mark Lawrence's database. Mark Lawrence got the best database, all right? So yeah, this isn't my ingredients here, but Mark Lawrence's tournament playbook's not out yet. So I had to do the number crunching myself and break it down. Actually took me a couple of fucking hours to do this. Like, people don't realize this shit. This took me about 2 hours. I'm pretty good at finding stuff, actually. Like, I'm fucking good at it. Like, I can, like, bang, bang, bang. I can find shit fast online, but there was a few things where it was a pain in the ass. Like I had to think about it and look up. Like Matt Painter. Had Matt Painter ever been to an Elite Eight before? I wasn't sure about that. I had to look that up. You know, there's certain things I had to look up. All right, so here we go. 16, guys, 16 of the last 17 national champions. This is 16-1. There was one exception. There was one exception. It was the UConn Huskies. And UConn have actually broken this trend twice in the last 22 years or whatever it is. All right, so 16 of the last 17 NCAA tournament champions all had this. If you don't have this, you're not winning. Unless you're fucking UConn with Shabazz Napier and you get fucking lucky and you win by a fucking point. All right, like you're not winning. 16 of the last 17 national champions. You need to score more than 73 points a game in the regular season. You can't average less than 73 points a game and win the tournament. You can't give up more than 73 points a game and win the tournament. Like if you're a team that gives up like fucking 78 points, but you know, you're a good team, you're in a tournament, you're not winning. You don't play good enough defense, it's going to catch up to you. You're not winning. So you need to score more than 73 points a game. You need to give up less than 73 points a game. Well, I'm looking at that, and basically there's a fucking million teams that fucking average more than 73 a game. All right? And there's a million teams that don't give up to 73 a game. And they're all in the tournament. But 16 of the last 17 national champions have all been a 1 seed, a 2 seed, or a 3 seed. And in fact, you know what? That's funny. I saw ESPN Stats and Info tweeted out something a couple hours ago that the last 3 times, all three times that the Final Four has been in San Antonio, it's been a 1 or a 2 seed that was in the Final Four only. Whatever, man. Like I said, Cinderella. And what's Cinderella's story, fuck? She goes to the ball and shit. She's got to get home for midnight or whatever. The glass slipper. I don't know, man. I don't know these fuck. Nobody read these things to me, so I don't really know. I sort of know it. Something about midnight and shit going bad. Look, there's going to be a Cinderella that makes it to the Final Four every now and then. They'll fall through the cracks. You know, Butler made it to the championship game a couple of years in a row, and they were like the lowest rated fucking televised games ever. They didn't like that. The fact is, people don't like Cinderella stories. People like the Blue Bloods. People would rather see Duke in the final and hate on them than fucking see, than see Florida State go on a run, you know? So anyway, so 16 of the last 17 national champions had these 8 ingredients that you need. You need to score more than 73 points a game. You need to give up less than 73 points a game. You need to be a 1 seed, a 2 seed, or a 3 seed. And you know what? There's a lot of shitty fucking 2 and 3 seeds in this tournament. Specifically, a lot of bad 2 seeds, I find. All right, you need to be a coach. One thing you'll notice about this, the NCAA tournament's all about coaching. It really is. This is where the coaching comes into play here. And it's funny because I've heard, remember we used to have Coach Cronin on, and we had Cronin on, we had Tubby Smith on, and we had Rick Majerus on. And they all sort of said different things, actually. I remember Bill Self told me, too. Might be a problem for Bill Self. I remember Bill Self told me, I used to have Bill Self on. I had Bill Self on twice, actually, in the old days. And I remember he told me that the NCAA tournament, basically, it's not really about coaching. He said, at this point, you're not really, you're not teaching these kids anything new. He said, you have to trust their instincts and you just sort of guide them through it, basically. And, others have like said, no, you really need to micromanage it. You know what I mean? You can micromanage this shit. it's a different approach, right? You see some fucking coaches, like Izzo really micromanages his team. Like you'll notice Michigan State, every fucking possession, every play, man, they look at Izzo. Like the kid doesn't get to do what he wants. He looks at Izzo. Izzo tells him, fucking set up half or whatever. And he does it. And they look for approval all the time for the play that they're about to do, which, you know, whatever. It works for Izzo. Some coaches just let their kids fucking fly around, right? But being an experienced coach matters in the NCAA tournament if you want to win. You need a coach that's been in the tournament at least 6 times, and he's been to the Elite Eight at least once. You need to have a winning margin of 7 or more points. You can't just have survived a bunch of fucking 1-point games all year long, all the time. You need to have played a top 75 schedule. You need to have a current All-American on your roster, or at least you played in the tournament the year before. So to recap, you need to score more than 73 points a game. You need to give up less than 73 points a game. You need to either be a 1 seed, a 2 seed, or a 3 seed. You need to have a coach who's been in the NCAA tournament 6 times and has been to the Elite Eight at least once. You need to have a regular season winning margin of 7 or more points per game. You need to have played a top 75 schedule. You need an All-American on your roster, or you played in the tournament the year before. This, as I stated, is a Mark Lawrence recipe for success. And if you're wondering who checks the boxes, Villanova checks all. Villanova meet all these requirements. They score more than 73. They give up less than 73. They're a 1 seed. They've got Jay Wright's been in the tournament a million times. He's won a championship. He's been in the Elite Eight many times before. They have a winning margin of 7 or more. They play the tough schedule. They have an All-American in Brunson. That leads Villanova, check, yes. Duke meets these requirements. Now, me personally, I don't think Duke wins. I'm not big on this Duke team. But Duke's got to play a couple other teams that meet these requirements. Now, I'll tell you right now, there are only 6 teams that meet these requirements. And I'll tell you right now, the winner will be one of these 6 teams. Now, it's not glamorous. No, I'm not telling you that fucking South Dakota is fucking making it to the Final Four here. They're not. All right? The 6 teams that meet the criteria: Villanova, Duke, Michigan State, Michigan, Kansas, and North Carolina. Those are the teams that meet the requirement. Now, the thing is, these teams play each other. So, you pretty much have your winner right here out of this little group. Duke and Michigan State play each other. Boom. One of them is gone. Michigan and North Carolina are going to play each other in the Sweet 16. One of them is gone. Kansas, as the bracket goes on, is going to have to deal with these guys. It's a process of elimination. Really, but these are the teams. And if you're wondering about some of the other teams, specifically Virginia, because I actually, like I said, I put hours into this last night, guys, and I double and I triple checked it because I didn't want to be wrong. So, I fucking looked. I was like, Virginia, right? Virginia don't meet the requirement. Virginia. And Virginia only scores 67 points a game. Virginia only scored. Now, I think Virginia's a dangerous team. And now, for the record, I've got Virginia in the Final Four. I actually think this Final Four is a pretty easy one to pick. I actually think the Final Four is a pretty easy one to pick this year. Villanova has the easiest path. They're going to the Final Four. Virginia is going to the Final Four. Virginia has like one game that'll give them a problem, and that's Arizona. And Arizona are a dangerous team, but we talked about it. The Pac-12 often fades. Now, we should note the Pac-12 is the only conference that sent a team to the Elite Eight 4 years in a row. So the Pac-12 has had one team go on a run into the Elite Eight 4 consecutive years in a row. And I can't disagree with Kevin White that UCLA could be that team. UCLA are a dangerous team. Yeah, you know what, Ty Rich, if I was getting into betting tonight, I don't want to blow my bankroll for, I don't really have much of a bankroll right now. But yeah, I'm going to Vegas in a couple of days. So, but yeah, you know, it was a good angle actually with fucking Serena. I didn't realize they were playing with Serena coming back from her pregnancy. I'll tell you guys right now about that Miami game. I think Loyola Chicago, I think that's the one that I don't understand. I think it's being way overhyped. Everyone like Loyola Chicago are like this big trendy team to beat Miami. And I don't see it. Miami are 4-1 in their last 5 games. They've gotten better. Larinaga has been there, done that before. This guy's been he's been a coach on one of these runs. Remember George Mason? He's a good tournament coach. Miami are going to be a problem. They've got NBA fucking caliber players on their team. They're going to defensively, they're going to be too much for Loyola. We're talking about a fucking ACC team here. That's a pretty good ACC team. Yeah, they lost to North Carolina the other day. They also beat North Carolina 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think Kentucky are a dangerous team, actually. But I don't think they'll beat Arizona. Yeah, Charleston I gave earlier in the day. I think Auburn are also frauds. Auburn don't have their rebounder. Auburn took a hit when they lost their rebounder. Anthony McLemore, leading shot blocker, rebounder. Guys, they're 2-4 straight up in their last 6 basketball games. 1-5 against the spread. Auburn. You remember Auburn just fell apart, man, in the second half against Alabama. And that's a rival, too. And you could have buried Alabama and kept them out of the tournament. You know, Alabama doesn't win that game. They're not in this tournament right now. You let Sexton fucking go off. All everybody's been talking about all fucking week is Sexton's this, Sexton that. That's all because of you. I think, and you look at College of Charleston, I think they match up well with Auburn, actually. And I think they're going to go in there playing with house money. They've scored 79 or more points in 9 of their last 10 basketball games. They're 9-1 to the over in their last 10. College of Charleston. The total is 148, 148 and a half, 147 and a half, 148. I think it's too low. I think it's going to get there. And I think College of Charleston are going to hang around in this basketball game. Now, let me open up one of the brackets here so I can sort of go through it. But as I stated, to me, it's pretty clear cut with a couple of exceptions. All right, we'll go over one here right now. Villanova against Long Island and Radford. We're all in agreement. Villanova, yes. Virginia Tech and Alabama. I agree with Dave Malinsky's take, and I don't think much of the SEC basketball teams. And Alabama are a 19-win team, and they won that other game. So they got the 20. Alabama got fucking smoked. Remember 2 weeks ago against Florida on their home court? I don't really know why Alabama are in this tournament, to be honest with you. But like Malinsky stated, the committee was all whacked out this year. Look, I don't really understand why Bama's even motherfucking here. Virginia Tech playing a better conference in the ACC. One thing with Virginia Tech, they're not as intimidating when they're not at home with the Metallica playing and the fucking crazy crowd up there. But Virginia Tech are a pretty scrappy team. As Dave Malinsky alluded, man, these guys play against badass fucking players in the ACC. Alabama's a one-man operation. Buzz Williams all fucking week is going to be looking at tape at Sexton. They're going to say, all right, this kid can't go to his left foot. Let's just force him here. They're going to be all over him. They're going to isolate him. I'll be betting. This will be a bet. I'm going to bet on Vatech to beat Alabama. You sort of have to like buy in and say, all right, fuck, I don't think this conference is good. I'll put my money where my mouth is. Right? And that's one of those situations right there. So for the record, as we mentioned, the 8 ingredients, the 6 teams that have it, Villanova, Duke, Michigan State, Michigan, Kansas, and North Carolina. For the record, my final 4 will be Villanova, Virginia. So Virginia is not on this list. Virginia don't meet the requirements, but this isn't a requirement to make the Final Four. This isn't the requirement for the Final Four. You know, this is a requirement to win a championship. I think Virginia get to the Final Four, and they play against the Michigan Wolverines. I don't want to be a homer. I think Michigan can make it to the championship game. I think Michigan can win, but I don't want to be a homer, and Michigan have been on a nice run right now, but we're not better than Virginia. So I didn't do the homer thing. I picked Virginia over Michigan. So I got Virginia, Michigan in the Final Four, Kansas, and Villanova, with Villanova beating Kansas and Virginia beating my Michigan Wolverines, setting up a double V matchup, vendetta. Double V matchup, Virginia and Villanova, with Villanova cutting down the nets once again. I've thought all year long that Villanova's been the best team and the team to beat. And, you know, I didn't even look at the futures and stuff, and it's unfortunate that, yeah, Villanova and Virginia are the 2 favorites right there. Now, we told anyone who would listen for weeks that Michigan was a great play at 80-1. Michigan are as low as 10-1 and as high as 15-1, depending on your book right now. Now, North Carolina's dangerous. Arizona's dangerous, 14-1. North Carolina's a dangerous team as well. You know, they are the defending champions, and people don't give them a lot of love, but I don't think they're as good this year, and I could see them getting bounced. Like, I think Michigan beats North Carolina, and then, you know, North Carolina could lose to Gonzaga after that. Michigan-Gonzaga would be an interesting matchup, but I think Michigan can beat them. All right, so those are the teams that meet the requirements. Villanova, Duke, Michigan State, Michigan, Kansas, North Carolina. Let me open up the futures right now. Let me pop open the futures. Like I said, I think Arizona could beat Virginia. I do think Arizona, like I buy in Arizona right now. I think Arizona are a dangerous team. Villanova plus 550. Virginia 6-1. Duke 7-1. I'm not buying into Duke. So let's go through the teams here. I'm not buying into Duke. So listen, Villanova plus 550, understandably so. I think they're the team to beat. I think they're the best team in the country. Between Brunson, Bridges, the fucking DiVincenzo kid, you know, Jay Wright, they're deep. They've been there before. They're experienced. They played in close games. They played in big games. They have NBA caliber talent. There's nothing not to like about Villanova. They play good man-to-man defense. Like Villanova can do whatever they want. Fuck, they can play in any style. Villanova are the team to beat. So that's my assessment. I think Villanova wins. I think Virginia literally can make it. That, listen, the hesitation is they only score 67 points a game. As good as these defensive teams are, they get in trouble if the other team just starts fucking raining threes on them and shit, and it gets out of hand. A team like Virginia have a hard time trying to come back, right? It's like a team running the football in football. But I don't know. There's something about this Virginia team, man. Like they're fucking smart. They're not going to choke. They're smart. They don't really make mistakes. They are a little bit better offensively than they have been in past years. They're a legitimate team. They can legitimately win this thing. Duke is the third choice. I don't buy Duke. I think Duke gets bounced in the Sweet 16 by Michigan State. I think Duke gets bounced in the Sweet 16 by Michigan State. I stand by this. So look, Duke plays Iona. Duke's going to beat Iona. Rhode Island's going to beat Oklahoma. And then Duke and Rhode Island. Duke will beat Rhode Island. Michigan State will beat Bucknell. TCU, Arizona. You know what? I'm going to call upset city on this one. I'm going to say Syracuse beats Arizona State, and then Syracuse upsets TCU. And then Michigan plays. They're going to get what they want. They're going to get an Izzo and Jim Boeheim. And then Michigan State will fuck Syracuse up. And then Michigan State will play Duke in the Sweet 16. And Michigan State beats them. So bye-bye, Duke. Fuck, you're out. Tough shit. 7-1. No, you're not going to make it, Duke. Duke, you got Bagley. You figure you should be better than you are, but they're not that good. They're Duke. They're good, but Grayson Allen isn't that lethal guy at the end of a game where you're worried. Anytime Duke plays in a close game and they lose, Grayson Allen's always taking bad shots, bad fouls, fucking clanking shit off the backboard. I don't trust them. And Bagley's really good, but he doesn't take games over in the last couple of minutes and stuff. Duke are just, I've been saying this all year, there's just something missing about this Duke team. I don't know what it is. They're good. They're dangerous. Yeah, they could beat anybody, but I don't think they will. And I think Michigan State will fucking just sort of beat them up and grind it out against them. So I don't buy into Duke. Scratch Duke at 7-1. Duke, no. Michigan State, 10-1. Michigan State are one of these weird teams that really you watch them and you're like, fuck, they're not that good. But they win all the time. It's fucking crazy with Michigan State. They go through these like 7-minute periods where they don't score. They fucking take like 4 shots in a row, brick. Like they'll have guys fucking come crashing in, try to dunk it. They'll miss the dunks. Like it's like Neanderthal basketball. Like they really will the ball into the basket. You know what I mean? It's like they take a shot, it clanks off, they'll get the rebound. The kid will like aggressively like clang it off the backboard from 3 feet in front. And then another kid will get the rebound and finally dunk it. Like you'll notice, like Michigan State, it takes them like 3-4 shots to get a basket, but they are fucking relentless. And they have good athletes, and they can get hot hitting threes and shit, these kids. And they're extremely well coached. I think Izzo's kind of like one of the media darlings that's kind of a dick in real life, or not a dick in real life, but sort of, a cheater or whatever. But or let's not say a cheater. He's not as a nice guy as they make him out to be, I'll say. That's what I think. Like, about the cover-ups and shit. But anyway, so Michigan State are fucking dangerous. They can make it. They can win. They met all the requirements that we talked about. Michigan State are just a classic example of, are they the best team in the country? No, but they could be better than anybody on any given day. I think they run out of gas, though. Like I said, I don't think you can will yourselves to victory that many times in a row. What up, Kitchener Ranger Ray? We'll get to Clemson. Yeah, I'm not buying in. I'm not buying into Duvall either. Like they don't have that spark. So you look at Michigan State. So I don't know if you guys agree, but I think, like I said, Duke beats Iona. Rhode Island will beat Oklahoma. Then you got Duke versus Michigan State in the Sweet 16, and I think that Michigan State beats Duke. So who would they play? They would play Kansas. Kansas is going to beat Penn. Seton Hall is going to beat NC State. Clemson's going to beat New Mexico State. I want to say that fucking Charleston beats Auburn outright. They don't, but they cover the number. Auburn and Clemson. We get a little football school matchup here. Clemson then beats Auburn. Kansas beats Seton Hall. Kansas then beats Clemson. Kansas then beats Michigan State. So I got Michigan State making it to the Elite Eight. So in other words, you're scratched, fuck. You're gone. You're gone. And the thing with Michigan State is it's treacherous for them. Villanova have a fucking cakewalk. Fuck. Villanova's going to beat fucking West Virginia and it's a cakewalk for them there. Virginia, you got to deal with Arizona. Duke, you got problems. Like Duke, if you're Duke, like it's not just picking on a team. You got to look at the bracket. If you look at Duke, they got issues, man. Like Duke will have their fucking hands full with Rhode Island. Like Rhode Island will give Duke all that they can handle. And then even if they survive that, even if Duke survived, the Rhode Island, which they will, then they get Michigan State. All right, you survive Michigan State, then you get Kansas. Duke's just not good enough. Fuck. They're not going to do it. I think Michigan State are better than they are. I think Michigan State will fucking just sort of beat them up and intimidate the soft-ass Duke Blue Devils here. I think they'll basically say, Grayson Allen shit. If Grayson Allen tries that fucking punk-ass bitch shit that he does, big run for Portland. If Grayson Allen tries that punk-ass bitch shit that he gets away with in the ACC against Michigan State, the Spartans will kill him, fuck. Like, they'll kill him. Like, Michigan State, listen, I'm a Michigan fan. I don't like Michigan State, but these guys don't play around. They're big. They're mean. Like, they're fucking mean, these guys. Like, they step on your fingers, deliberately mean, like after scrums. Like, they'll fucking put you in the third row. They'll bump into you. Like, they don't mind taking a fucking personal technical and shit. Izzo lives with it. Like, they're extremely emotional, this team, Michigan State. So, like if Grayson Allen fucked around, man, it wouldn't be pretty for Duke. I think Michigan State knows this. I think Michigan State would just sort of intimidate Allen, get in his face, make him get all, flustered and shit. And then Bagley's big, but Michigan State would just fucking say, sorry, bro, but we got to beat you up here tonight. Sorry. Then apologize in the paint to him. Man, I'm a fan, man, but yeah, sorry, fucking elbow in the back. Sorry, fucking elbow. Yeah, like I said, it pains me to say it, man, but I'm not picking this bracket with my fucking heart, man. I'm going what I think is going to happen, and I don't think Duke goes that far. Michigan State's always a street ball team. They have big fucking dudes, man. I disagree with the Loyola pick, Kyle. Love you, bro, but I got to disagree with that one. So I'm just sort of explaining why I like my Final Four the way that I do. All right, so let's look up here. So I think Virginia Tech, and this correlates with the bets here too, and then we'll start talking about the bets here in a few minutes. But Virginia Tech and Alabama playing. Alabama are a one-man team, and Buzzwood, they're going to have a fucking game plan for this kid. They're going to take him out of the game. The ACC is a much better conference than the SEC is. Virginia Tech are a better all-around basketball team. Alabama are fucking lucky to be here. West Virginia and Murray State. Here's another 12-5. I think the Racers, I personally think West Virginia are overrated. I personally didn't understand why West Virginia were fucking favorites against the Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday, and we fucking smashed it. I didn't get it. And give me Murray State plus the points in this game. West Virginia survives, but I bet you Murray State hangs around. This game's going to be one of these games where, first half Murray State could be in play here. First half Murray, I could just picture this game sort of being people panicking in their brackets, like, oh, fuck. West Virginia is only up by 4, with 6 minutes left. You know what I mean? I think it'll be one of those deals. I think West Virginia will win, but Murray State's going to fucking scare the shit out of some people. Man, how many times have we seen Bob Huggins' West Virginia fucking teams? Everyone picks on Bill Self. At least he makes it to the Final Four and shit. Bob Huggins, West Virginia, oh, they're pressed, this and that. Fuck off. It's the same bullshit every fucking year. I'm not a big West Virginia guy. I'm not buying what they're selling. Matthias, what's up, Matthias? Matthias saying Bucknell. Arizona, Virginia, that's a hell of a game, Xanon. It's a hell of a game. Arizona match up real well with them. Arizona are like a more explosive version of Virginia almost. $86.72 right now. The total's sort of lingering. Everything about this game is just sort of like, oh, it could, might, maybe. Okay, so like I said, probably we're going to go over the point spreads and stuff here too in a minute, but keep on going through the bracket here, and they're part of the picks. So, yeah, I think West Virginia survives against Murray State, but Murray State covers the number. I got to tell you, another team that I think is overrated is Wichita State. I think the point spread is a little too high in this game as well. I'm not a believer in Wichita State. This game's going to be a fucking track meet. Wichita State and West Virginia, it's, listen, the Wichita State Marshall game, what's the total? 165, 166? They made it higher than I thought they would. Marshall don't play defense. But like I said, man, Wichita State have a hard time scoring. They really do, as we see. They really have a hard time scoring, Wichita State, in sort of in pressure situations. It's one of these deals. Like if Marshall fucking just came out and started raining threes on their ass and shit, Wichita State will grind back and win the game, but I don't know if they can win by as many points as they're laying. I'm not giving this as a pick right now, but I'm just saying I'm kicking the tires on this one. I think Wichita State survive when they play West Virginia, and I don't think much of either team. This is one of the reasons why I think Villanova's going to the easily good there. Villanova's going to beat Virginia Tech, and then Villanova will play the winner at West Virginia or Wichita State. Pick your poison. Who's it going to be? I'll say West Virginia. West Virginia, Villanova. You have your own little version of a new version of the backyard brawl, except Pittsburgh is Philadelphia. Villanova, West Virginia. Like I said, look how easy it is for Villanova. Villanova to get there. They got to play Virginia Tech or Alabama. Then after that, they need to play West Virginia or Wichita State. It's a joke for them. That's why, I'm not saying I think Villanova are invincible, but their path here is extremely fucking gratuitous. You got Florida and St. Bonaventure and UCLA. This is part of the toughest fucking little ones to pick. Because Florida and UCLA could really both get hot. And UCLA are suddenly becoming a trendy team. I'm not buying it fully. I'm going to fucking buy in. I told people all year I think Florida could be a dangerous team in this tournament. And I stand by this. Florida have been massive underachievers this year, but they have good players. They have a good coach. Florida's the type of shit, man. And if they start dunking and alley-ooping and shit, and they get their confidence going, I could see them just physically fucking matching up real well with UCLA. I'm gonna pull the trigger. You got to pull a few upsets here. I think Texas Tech are also very, very vulnerable and pretty fraudulent, to be honest. So actually, we were jumping all over the place. We're going through the futures here too. Kansas 12-1. Yeah, I think Kansas can get there. Purdue 14-1. Frauds. 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 Yeah, I look at the Ken Palm ratings a bit. Yeah. I don't have time to look at every fucking ratings and shit. I look at the Ken Palm ratings. I look at the RPI. Yeah, so I think Marshall, see, I'm sort of going through the futures here, and we'll get back to the bracket talk. But so Villanova's the real deal. I think they can win. Virginia's the real deal. I think they can win. I think Duke are frauds. Fuck Duke. They're going to get bounced in the Sweet 16 by Michigan State. Michigan State are really good, but I don't think they're better than Kansas. I think Kansas bounces them. Purdue's going home early. Like, where's Purdue here? So Purdue beats Fullerton. Purdue could lose to Butler. Purdue could lose to fucking Butler this weekend. Purdue could lose to Butler this weekend. And in fact, I say they do. I say Purdue gets fucking bounced this weekend. And Butler beats Arkansas. Butler then beats Purdue. This is the one. I'm taking Stephen F. Austin plus the points against Texas Tech. I'm taking the points plus Texas against Texas Tech, but I'm not going to call the outside the money line here. But I think Stephen F. Austin is the play against Texas Tech. And what are we getting here? Here we are. 11.5. We're getting 11.5 with a total of 138. I think they hang around in this game. I'm not buying into Missouri. I think Florida State beat them. I think Florida State beat them hard 19M. I brought it up earlier. Missouri just lost their rebounder and fucking shot blocker to drunk driving. I think it's going to catch up. I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is like he's rusty, man. The kid's only played like briefly. And now you're throwing them in against a high pace against Florida State. Florida State have been known to underachieve at times, but Leonard Hamilton's a good coach come tournament time. I think FSU beat them actually. Gonzaga, underrated. Gonzaga legitimately could make it. I think Gonzaga can make it to the Final Four. Yeah, like to me, Art, that's the problem there. That Michael Porter, he's not healthy. He struggled from the field when he got on the court the other day. And, dude, now you're playing in an NCAA tournament game against an ACC team like Florida State, who are pretty physical. They're going to get in this kid's face and shit. And Missouri are just a little light right now. Well, thank you very much, Pete Peters. So looking at the value here of the futures. Now, like I said, I don't see any value in the regional bracket futures, and I don't really see any value in playing these teams at 5 and 6-1 to wait 3 weeks. Like if Virginia plays Villanova in a title game, it's going to be a pick'em fuck. Villanova will be like -1.5 or something, or Virginia, we're actually the top 1 overall seed. So, you know what I mean? Like there's no really need you could just sort of flip this shit over. The future is only good if you're sort of looking at a long shot. You can sort of say, all right, that's a chunky number. I don't want to worry about rolling it over. Michigan at 15-1. Not bad. Arizona 14-1, dangerous. North Carolina 15-1. Because look, North Carolina plays Michigan. I think the winner of North Carolina Michigan is going to go to the Final Four. They'll beat Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga will beat Xavier. So I think North Carolina or Michigan are going to the Final Four. You can get either one of them at 15-1 right now. Cincinnati are complete fucking frauds. Fuck. Cincinnati couldn't. Come on. Cincinnati is fucking criminal yesterday. I hope that referee's fucking happy that he fucked over the Houston Cougars like that. That game should have went to overtime. They called an over-the-back foul with like 3 seconds left, sending Cincinnati to the line. The foul was on Cincinnati's end of the court. There was no way you should have called that. These kids are playing for a fucking conference tournament, fucking championship, playing their hearts out, 55-55, and you call that bullshit foul? That's bullshit. Then I seen Cincinnati win that game. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago, Cincinnati played against Wichita State. It was the same shit. Cincinnati went in there and beat Wichita State because Wichita State choked in the last possession again. Cincinnati are just lucky. They don't play against very good teams. They win these fucking 51-50 games. That shit ain't going to work in the fucking tournament. Cincinnati, you're going home. Where are they? Let me see. Where's Cincinnati here? All right, so Cincinnati's going to beat Georgia State. This fucking Nevada-Texas game is as fucking tough as it gets, isn't it? I think Texas beats them. I think Texas is going to beat them, guys. Nevada seem a little bit tired. Nevada are really guard heavy. I don't know, man. Nevada rely. You know what the problem is, too? Like Michigan State. They're not great, but teams that can't shoot that well and shit, that can really just fucking grind it. You know, they can fucking get the putbacks and the rebounds and stuff. And I don't know, man. Shaka Smart's been here, done that before. Texas have a lot of blue chips on their team. They play with a lot of heart, Texas. Nevada are kind of flaky, you know. They're a Mountain West team. You know, like Mountain West teams don't do well in the tournament. I'm leaning Texas in this game. It's a tough one. I'm looking at the chat. What do you guys think about this one? But I'm leaning Texas here. I think that Nevada is one of these trendy picks. Oh, Nevada and Musselman and shit. We know about Nevada, guys. We've been betting on them all year, man. We had them early in the year against Rhode Island. We know all about them, man. We gave them to beat UNLV the other day and the over and shit. So we know all about them, but you know, they're not a great team. You know, they're good. They play in the Mountain West. You drop them against Texas are physical. Texas are physical. You dropping these kids from Nevada who play finesse basketball, who rely on fucking jump shots. You're taking them out of their element, and now you're playing against a Texas Longhorn team that's fucking got a chip on their fucking shoulder, that's got some fucking real NBA talent and has a coach that is fucking a genius in the tournament and Shaka Smart. I gotta say Texas win. Yeah, thanks, Scott F. I don't buy it with Cincinnati. Yeah, and I hear Bomba's back. What's up, All in Action? I hear Bomba's back. So I'm calling, you know what? Let's call some upsets here. Texas to beat Nevada, Texas to beat Cincinnati. Texas to beat Nevada, Texas to beat Cincinnati. This is the one that surprised me, all right, when I did this. Because I'm not sitting here telling you the Tennessee Volunteers are a great team or anything like that, but Wright State are fucking terrible, all right? The Horizon League sucks. So you got Wright State. Tennessee's going to fucking dispatch these kids. These fucking kids, these kids from the South are going to be way too athletic for Wright State. So Tennessee's going to beat them. I know a lot of you guys are talking about Loyola Chicago beating Miami, Florida. I'm not seeing it. I don't see it. I think Miami, Florida and Larinaga are going to beat them. This is the game that I want everyone in the media to fucking pick, and I want everyone to sort of push this trend about Loyola Chicago and that Miami suck and that fucking Loyola Chicago are going to go on this deep run. I'm not buying it. I think the Miami Hurricanes beat them. I think the Miami Hurricanes beat them, and then I think Tennessee beats Miami. But Miami could beat Tennessee. Like, I would, long story short, I'm not buying what Loyola Chicago's selling. I'm not buying what Cincinnati's selling. So, like, I essentially have fucking Tennessee and Texas playing in the Sweet 16 against each other. It's like a process of elimination. I don't buy Cincinnati, man. Cincinnati will beat Georgia State. I think they'll lose to Texas this weekend. I really do. Or it'll come down to the fucking wire, man. Give me the fucking points. Guys, I don't know what this fucking number point spread shit is with Cincinnati, man. They're 17-point favorites against fucking SMU. They win by 10, barely. Fuck. They were fucking losing late in the game. They turn around, they lay 16.5 to Memphis. Memphis fucking hang around, lose by 10. They turn around, they lay fucking 4.5, 5 to Houston. They fucking win by 1 point because the refs gift wrap the fucking game. I don't know why the odds makers keep putting up these big numbers with Cincinnati. Fuck it. I'm not taking Georgia State in this game because Georgia State are terrible, but I will take Texas. Fuck. I think Nevada are kind of flaky, would have a hard time. I think the defense would be too much for them, but I think Texas match up well with these guys. I think if you're Shaka Smart, you're like, fucking right, man. We got a team that doesn't really get lighted up. They're going to want to bang. I got big kids. Let's go. Fuck. Give me Texas plus the points against Cincinnati when that game happens. And give me the upset special. I'm not buying what Cincinnati's selling. So scratch Cincinnati at 15-1. North Carolina, dangerous. I think North Carolina and Michigan are getting to the Final Four. North Carolina and Michigan play each other in the Sweet 16. Xavier, I'm not buying Xavier. Fuck, they're not a 1 seed. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So Xavier beats fucking Texas Southern. Missouri, Florida State. I think Florida State beats Missouri. South Dakota State, Ohio State. I say Ohio State survives, but no, let's call the upset fucking outright. South Dakota State beat them. Gonzaga. Then either way, Gonzaga is going to beat South Dakota State or Ohio State. And then you got Xavier versus Florida State. I'll say Xavier beats Florida State, and I say Gonzaga beats Xavier. So, I'm not saying that Xavier gets bounced right away, but I got Xavier getting bounced in the Sweet 16. Houston, San Diego State's a fucking tough game to pick, man. Holy motherfucker. I'm going to lean with San Diego State. Michigan, San Diego State. Texas A&M, Providence. That's a tough one. This one's another hard one. I think Providence will beat them. North Carolina versus Providence. North Carolina beats Providence. Michigan beats San Diego State. Michigan beats North Carolina. Michigan beats Gonzaga to make it to the Final Four. Virginia beats Maryland, Baltimore County. Creighton and K-State's a fucking tough game, this one. I lean with K-State. I don't think Creighton are all that great. The underdog 9. I don't love that game, but I'm just leaning K-State. Kentucky and Davidson. I think Kentucky survive, but it'll be a close fucking game. Kentucky gets through. Arizona, Buffalo, Arizona. Arizona will then beat Kentucky. Virginia will beat K-State, and then Virginia will beat Arizona. Tennessee and Texas, motherfucker. Tennessee makes it to the Elite Eight. But Virginia beats them. Texas Tech survives against Stephen F. Austin, but loses to Florida. Florida surprises everybody, goes to the Sweet 16. Beats Butler. Let's call Florida. Surprise to the Elite Eight. Villanova then beats them, though. So, anyways, I arrive to the same point in time here all the time. Virginia, Michigan, or Virginia, North Carolina, Villanova, Kansas. And then I've got Villanova beating Kansas. I got Virginia beating my Michigan Wolverines, unfortunately, which gives us Virginia and Villanova in the title game. And I've got Villanova beating the Virginia Cavaliers. What's up, Kyle? What didn't you like what I heard? Oh, what, me? I know Allen action. I'm not overly. I'm not, dude. You didn't hear me bitching to Malinsky about that earlier. I'm like, we got to play North Carolina, man. It's bullshit. Fuck. Yeah, I'm not happy about playing North Carolina at all. What up, Spenny Mac? Scott Ramsey says Virginia. So Scott Ramsey knows his basketball. Nova over Sparty. So we arrive at the same place. We arrive at the same place, Scott. We just take a different path to get there. Because I've got Villanova beating Virginia in the title game. And, so that's my final four. Kansas, Villanova, Virginia, Michigan. But the caveat would be, oh, here's Miami coming on, 93-90 right now. This is unbelievable. I actually played a Pro Line ticket tonight, and I won the first two plays of this already. And I played this. I lost one of the plays by 1 point. And I played this to be a tie. And it pays a lot, too. It's fucking pissing me off. All right, we'll take a quick break here. Give me a minute, guys. Just got to take a leak here. Quick bathroom break, and we'll continue these breakdowns. Take a look at some of the best bets of the odds and stuff like that, too. Man, yes, the NBA Western fucking playoffs can be off the fucking hook. All right, quick break. Give us a minute here, and we'll be right back. We'll continue talking March Madness. Like I said, we won't be on Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll be in Vegas. Man, Justice Winslow started to get good. I'm going to bet on the Miami Heat in the playoffs, man. They're going to be a fucking load to deal with in the playoffs. Dwayne Wade will raise the level of his game. Fucking Whiteside, you know, they're scrappy without these guys even. They're a good team, fuck. I got to give credit to Sepulchra. They got like all those Johnsons, fuck. You know? They got a lot of big bodies that can play defense. Like we know as Raptor fans, these guys can give us all we fucking can handle. Portland going on a little explosion now. I'm going back and forth here. All right, so let's talk some college basketball. I can't stay here all night. You guys know me. I go fucking till 2 a.m. often here with you, but we're on the clock this week, man. I got a trip, and it's a domino effect, you know? With tapings, my time suddenly gets fucking, you know, like everything sort of gets condensed. I'm not like Babano, we'll put it that way. Like, I'm not packed. I'm not, you know, Dave Malinsky asked me before we came on, are you ready for Vegas? I was like, what? Who? Like, I'm thinking, fucking ready for Vegas, trying to get through this show right now, fucking give these guys some information. You know what it is, too? I got these radio shows, right, from 4 to 7. So, you know, yeah, I'm leaving Wednesday, but if you consider it, I'm on 4 to 7 tomorrow. So anything I need to get done has got to get done tomorrow early. And then after, on Wednesday, like literally, we got to leave at 6. We're not even going to be on, me and Cam, for the last hour to be Tony Sincata alone because we got to get to the airport. So essentially, like I've got tomorrow morning / afternoon to take care of a lot of things. And then Wednesday, the days I'm leaving, and that's the day. I don't know how you guys operate when you leave, but I basically do like the laundry and shit like the night before or that morning of, you know what I mean? I'm going to try to get organized tomorrow, though. So Wednesday, I don't have to worry. I'm going to try to be like Babano and be prepared. So like tomorrow, my plan is, all right, I'm going to bring this. All right, put it on the bag, put the bag there. So Wednesday, I'm not fucking panicking after a radio show. Oh, I got to fucking go. And, oh, where's this? Where's my jacket? Fuck. You know, it's funny, too. When I was in Vancouver, and Kyle can attest to this, man. Poor bastard, Kyle. You're a class act. You know, Chris and Kyle are hardcore guys that come all the way out from Atlanta and San Diego to Vancouver. And, you know, it rains in Vancouver, but holy fuck, did it rain one of the days that we were there. like it fucking rained, man. Not like normal rain. Like even people in Vancouver were like, holy shit, this is hard rain. Like we were in a taxi and a taxi driver was freaked out. Even I was like, well, I expected it. Fuck. He's like, no, this isn't normal. Fuck. He's like, it just doesn't stop. He's like, usually it stops. And I saw Kyle and Chris the first time I saw them in Vancouver and they showed up at the bar. They were soaking. They were all wet, cold. Fuck. Kyle's like, man, is it like this? It's going to be like this all weekend? Fuck. And fortunately, it stopped raining like after the Friday night. It pissed that Friday afternoon like really hard, man. So So my shoes got fucking ruined. I wasn't as soaked as Kyle and Chris were, but my shoes, like my fucking feet were soaked. And if your feet are wet and cold, you're wet and cold. You know what I mean? And I'm too old to be wet and cold. Fuck. So I fucking panicked, man. My fucking feet were freezing. My socks were soaked. I was like, I can't do a show like this. And it's nearly my annual thing. Fuck. I bought a pair of shoes at the Foot Locker up the street from the fucking bar we do the show at. So I know the area. I'm like, man, there's a shoe boot store right up the street. I told Kyle and Chris, I'll be back in 10 minutes. I fucking went. And they're fucking sweet, actually. Yeah, so I bought these Nikes. It's kind of a shoe / boot. It's not a winter boot, but, you know, it's sort of made of this material that's sort of waterproof. Nice looking shoe, boot / thing. Yeah, pretty sweet, huh, Kyle? Or Brooks? They're fucking light too, dude. They're light like a Nike shoe. They're light like a Nike shoe. What up, Pittsburgh Brew? So, no, ask Pittsburgh Brew. They're light as fuck. They're light. Yeah. So my whole point was I wore them in Vancouver for a couple of nights, Brooks. But the thing is, they're nice enough that I didn't want to ruin them in the snow when I got back to Toronto. So remember, I bought those other black Nikes. I've actually bought 2 this fucking year. I'm an idiot. When I went to Montreal for the homicide stuff, it was a fucking blizzard, snowstorm and shit. But you can't fuck around in Montreal. It was like minus 25. And so I bought these. What's up, McKinnon? Good to see you, buddy. I bought these there. So I got the black ones. Game goes over the number. Portland cover. So I got the black ones. I wear the black ones in the snow and shit because you can't ruin them, right? But my whole point was these ones here, I never wore them again. Fuck. Like Brooks said, I wore these in Vancouver for like 2 nights. I never wore them again. Exactly. So now that I find out that it's fucking raining and cool in Vegas, boom, I can bust these out, Brooks. I'm going to bring these to Vegas. That wasn't the plan. Now I bring these motherfuckers to Vegas with me, man. I'm going to wear these in Sin City. I'll be looking sharp cruising around the casino wearing these bad boys. And when I go out and it's raining, when I go out to smoke a spliff in the parking lot of the casino and it's raining, I won't be like, oh, fuck, my fucking feet are getting wet. So as we say, we're going to be broadcasting. I know it sucks, Kyle. Well, there'll be more. We'll have more events in the future. We'll hook up for sure. We're going to broadcast a lot from there, though, Kyle. So yeah, I was going to say, so we're not on Wednesday here, but Clay Travis and Kelly in Vegas and some others from Vegas will be on here on the SBR page. me and Teddy Covers and Paulie Howard. I'm going to join Paulie Howard and Teddy Covers Thursday and Friday mornings. Thursday and Friday morning. I just got an email actually from Ariana Sanchez from SBR saying, yeah, no anger management show Wednesday. Yeah, so no anger management Wednesday on Wednesday night. But they'll be programming on here. Like I said, Clay Travis and Kelly in Vegas have something going on. Zach Jones going to be there filming it and shit. So, but we'll be on 11 a.m. on Thursday morning on Sportsbook with Paulie Howard and Ted Savransky. I'll be joining them from my hotel room. Might be a little hungover. I'm warning you guys. I don't know if you remember once when I joined. That time the Bills made the playoffs, fuck. That was the only time I fucked up. I felt bad for Donnie. I was supposed to be on at 12. I was awake. I was fucking wasted in the morning still. I played a show the night before. I woke up. I was like, all right, I'm good to go. Fuck. It was like 10 o'clock a.m. The next thing I know, it's like fucking 12:20. I fucking told Donnie, I'm like, listen, man, fucking. I remember I came on. It was like, fuck, I was in that dingy hotel room in Montreal. My voice is all fucked. Hey, Donnie, I think the Bills minus the points today. Well, fucking hungover. I warned the SBR people. Like, I'm not getting paid by, like, I'm just going on as a guest on these SBR things. I'm going there on my own. Like, I didn't get sent to Vegas by SBR. I didn't get sent to Vegas from the Fantasy Sports Network. And same with them. Like, now Fantasy's like, all right, can you call in on this day and on that day? And can you join that show? I said, yeah, sure. I said, I don't mind. I said, but I'm just warning you that, I might be buzzed at some point in time. Like, I'm not going to Vegas. I didn't go to Vegas to fucking stay sober to fucking call in radio shows. You know what I mean? That wasn't the point of me going there. So it's like I told him, hey, I'll fucking tape the show if you want before. Like, I gave him the choice. They're like, no, just call in. So I told Cardano, I said, yeah. I said, I'll call in, but, I'm probably going to be a few drinks in. He's like, all right, that's cool. So I warned Teddy and I warned everyone at SPR. I said, listen, I won't be hungover on the Thursday morning show. I'm not drinking when I get to Vegas on Wednesday night. I'm not that nuts. I get into Vegas at like 10 o'clock. I'm just going to go to one of the dispensaries, going to get my weed. Legal, of course. It's great. Legal. Going to go get my legal weed in Vegas. I'm hardcore too, guys. I don't even check into my hotel first. Last time I got to Vegas, I told the guy, take me to the fucking dispensary in front of the pumps. I told him, wait here, fuck. And I actually had to fill out a bunch of paperwork for some reason, even though it was legal. I had to fill out a bunch of shit. I had to become a member of the place. So I fucking had to tell the tax. I went back out. I was like, all right, you can't wait. It's going to take a little while. Yeah, it took like 15 minutes. They told me next time I come back, I won't have to go through that. So maybe I'll go there if it's, there's a place near where I'm staying, though, that I see that's open till midnight that I can go check out. So, yeah, Wednesday night, I'm going to get to Vegas. I'm going to get my weed. And then I'm going to go to, I'll check into my hotel, get the weed first, check into the hotel. I got this shit down. So I'll get the weed, then I'll show up. First thing I'll do is I'll go into the sports book before I check in. I'll go to the sports book. I'll grab the sheets. I'll grab all the sheets. I'll grab multiple sheets so I don't lose one or whatever. I'll grab a bunch of sheets with all the numbers and the rotation of the games. And I'll get something to eat. There's a pharmacy right near where I am. So I'm going to go to the pharmacy, just sort of get the shit I need. When I'm there, set up shop on that Wednesday night. I'm going to buy a bunch of bottles of water and shit. I know I'm going to be hungover. I got to pop those fiber pills. You know what I mean? So I got to go to like the CVS there and stock up on some shit. In Vegas too, like there's a lot of times in Vegas where it's like, man, I'm fucking hungry, but like you're in a casino. It's not like there's not food everywhere unless you want to sit in a nice restaurant. So I know the scene there, and I even have like a mini fridge in my suite. So I'm gonna go to the fucking pharmacy. I'm gonna buy a bunch of shit, sort of just stick it there. just standard shit, man. Even like bread, peanut butter, you know what I mean? So if you're in your hotel, you're not like, oh, fuck, it's Vegas, and I got to go all the way to Denny's 3 blocks away, or I got to go to the casino floor. It's like, no, man, I got some chocolate milk right here. Bam, bam, fucking mixing drinks, cranberry juice. You know what I'm saying? I think ahead. Get it all in my room all set up. And then fucking spend Wednesday night. It'll be late night. But by the time I get there, it's going to be like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning for you guys on the East. So I'm going to be there overnight. I'll start fucking filling out all my fucking circle and everything. And then I got to be on the air at 8 a.m. until 9 local time. And then the games are at noon. So in the morning, I got to be up at like 7 in the morning. I'll go down, fucking get my bets in at 7 a.m. for the early games. Smoke a few, go back up to the room, do the hit with Paulie and Teddy. And then after I run that, fucking, hey, the vacation begins. The only thing is, the first game started like 9 a.m. there. So I'm not going to start drinking at 9 a.m. in Vegas. Like, I'm not that crazy. It's not that I have never drank at 9 a.m. in Vegas before, but I've been up all night when I did it. Yeah, I'm not going to start drinking at 9 a.m., but I'll kick in at about noon Vegas time. You know, the games end 3 hours earlier, so about noon Vegas time, which it'll be about 3 o'clock. So I won't be wasted when I check in on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network. I'll only be a few drinks in. But then by the time that you guys get me at 10 o'clock Eastern on Thursday night, I should be pretty fucking boozed up. So the Thursday night throwdown, I don't even know where I'm going to do it from. I might do it from my room. If we can pull it off from the fucking the casino, I will, from the Sportsbook. The plan is that. If the Wi-Fi is good enough in the Sportsbook, we'll just do it from the Sportsbook. And that's what's cool. Like in the old days in Vegas, man, they used to freak fuck if you're on your phone in the fucking Sportsbook. Like now they don't give a shit. Like there's people with laptops all over fucking Sportsbooks now. So basically they set up, sit down, start talking, boom, we got a place to do a show. Yeah, it would be 13 drinks in. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time. Yeah, so Thursday night we'll bring on whoever. Thursday night we'll bring on whoever happens to be there with us. We're staying at Parts Unknown. We've actually moved it around a couple of times, but we'll be at a bunch of different places. Too many people asking me where I'm going to be. What do you want, my fucking room number too? You guys want my room number? I tell you what, I guarantee you, wherever I fucking am, wherever I fucking am, I'm not going to do it in my name. The fucking funniest shit was fucking, the funniest shit was last time when I was in Montreal on the road. I don't know if you guys, how many were in the chat when it happened, but fucking Jazz really pissed me off, man. Fucking. I remember I was sitting in a hotel room in Montreal, and I said to everyone in the chat, I'm like, I said, yeah, man, because people are like, holy fuck, Morency, you look like you're being held hostage. Like I look like it was a no frills. It wasn't actually that bad of a room, but it didn't translate well on camera. So it looked like I was in this like dingy hotel room, sort of like being held hostage, like holding a newspaper up. And I said, one good thing about this is, I said, I'm in a hotel right now in Montreal. And I said, nobody knows where the fuck I am. I said, I didn't tell anyone I know where I am. I said, nobody knows where I am right now. And I like it. And so I'm doing the show. And the fucking phone rings behind me in the hotel room. And I just went through this spiel about how no one fucking knows where I am and shit. So I'm like, I pick up the phone, sort of like, hello? I'm like, hello? And it's fucking Jazz, fuck. Yeah, it was fucking Jazz. And the whole reason Jazz knew is because he stayed at that fucking hotel with me before. So he recognized it, fuck. So I told him, I said to him this week, I said, yeah, try to find me this week, buddy. I said, fucking, trust me. I'm going fucking under a different, I'm going with the alias. I'm going to tell them at the front desk, basically, listen, fuck, I got a lot of nut jobs out here, all right? Fucking. I've already considered some of my alias names, to be honest with you. See you later, Pittsburgh Brew. All right, so let's get back to this tournament. I'll share with you some of the notes and my facts that I shared earlier in the day today. So we shared with you the 6 teams and the recipe that can win. Villanova, Duke, Michigan State, Michigan, Kansas, North Carolina. One of those teams is winning the tournament. And I personally think it will be Villanova. So a game that catches my eye here is Oklahoma versus Rhode Island with Trae Young. Trae Young's been struggling for a little while now. Not just Oklahoma, but he's been struggling. And he forces up the shots. You know, like there's some scorers where if the 3 ball's not working for them, they'll take it to the rack. It's like, all right, listen, this isn't working. I got to take it to the rack. I got to get to the free throw line. I got to earn my buckets here. Like, you know, the shot's just not falling. And then the shot will start falling when I take it to the rack. He doesn't do that. Like, Trae Young is way overrated. Like, all this bullshit about him being the #1 pick in the draft is crazy talk. Yeah, he's a streaky shooter. All he does is shoot. And I notice he's not very smart. Like, when shit's not going his way, he doesn't stop shooting, but he takes bad shots. He just sort of keeps chucking it. He gets down on himself. And Rhode Island have a bunch of guards. You know, I don't think the rest of Oklahoma are going to match up well with the smaller lineup of Rhode Island. Rhode Island are just a better basketball team than they are. The Sooners are 4-11 straight up in their last 15 games. They're 3-12 against the spread. I don't like the fact that Rhode Island sort of backed into this tournament over the last week or so, but I think they'll be fine ultimately against Oklahoma. So I think Rhode Island beats them. We talked about Auburn. I think Auburn are a little bit overrated. I think Charleston can give these guys all that they can handle. Losing Anthony McLemore has really hurt them. They've struggled down the stretch. They're just 1-5. They're just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games, 2-4 straight up. We talked about Charleston really being able to push the pace. They've scored 79 or more points in 9 of their last 10 basketball games. They're 9-1 to the over in their last 10 games. You know, we just saw Sexton light up. Auburn in the second half of that game. So we know that Auburn's capable of getting torched defensively as well. Auburn will score on the Chantilly. They're going to score on Carolina. You know, Charleston. Excuse me. The Chantilly's. They're going to score on them, but you know, I think they're going to trade points. And Charleston's playing with house money. Fuck, I think they hang around in this game. I like the over a lot. I like the over. Charleston's going to give up points. You know, and Auburn's really going to be able to kind of do what they want offensively, but I can see Charleston trading buckets with them. I like the over 148 there. My best bet is South Dakota State plus the 8 points. Ohio State have struggled down the stretch. South Dakota State are an experienced team. They've got guys that have been in the tournament before. I like teams in a tournament that have a go-to guy. But, you know, Trae Young is not really a go-to guy because he's streaky. You know, Mike Daum is, this kid's not really streaky. He's consistent as fuck. 25 points a game last year, 23 points a game this year, 42% from three-point territory. we're talking about a team that beat Ole Miss on the road. Like South Dakota State, they match up well against sort of big programs. They're not going to be intimidated. They're scoring like 83 fucking points a game. The Buckeyes have lost 3 of their last 5 games coming into this. You throw in the fact that since 2009, number 12 seeds are 24-12 against the spread to the 12-5 matchup. I think South Dakota State could win this game outright, let alone I will sprinkle on the money line, but I got to take the points. Listen, it's March Madness, guys. There's going to be close fucking games. You can't convince yourself to take the underdog in every game, obviously, but if there's if you can make a solid argument as to why the team, can hang around, I think you do it. It's not called March Madness for nothing. So I like, if I had to bet one game, that's the bet. That's my bet. And in fact, when I'm in Vegas, when's this game? What time is this game at? This game is is it Friday? We got to wait till Friday for this one. I thought it was Thursday. Oh, there it is, Thursday. Yeah, 4 o'clock Eastern. So 1 o'clock Vegas time. So yeah, this will be one of my first big bets. So yeah, so we're in Vegas. The first game up in the morning will be Oklahoma and Rhode Island. Nice. I'm going to bet that. I'll bet on the Rams. Wright State and Tennessee. I'm not in a hurry to fucking take 13 or really lay 13 here. I don't love that game. I'm not betting on every game. Fuck. NC Greensboro and Gonzaga, 12.5. That's at 1:30 Eastern. So you got 12:15 Eastern, Thursday morning, Oklahoma, Rhode Island from Pittsburgh. Then at 12:40 Eastern, 9:40 Pacific, Vegas time, Wright State versus Tennessee. 1:30 in the afternoon, East Coast, NC Greensboro versus Gonzaga. Early start for Gonzaga. 2 o'clock, Penn versus Kansas, up to 14 right now. Duke and Iona out of the gate here. Could be some points in this basketball game. Total's 157, though. That's at 245. And then boom. So my big bets when I'm in Vegas, and I can't fuck around because this horse that we own costs us some money. Oklahoma and Rhode Island. I'm going to bet on that. That'll be my early morning bigger play. I might put together a few money line parlays like Gonzaga, Kansas, and Duke type thing. I'll figure something out there. You guys know I like to bet totals, but I'm a little bit more cautious with totals in the tournament because of the neutral court aspect of it. But sometimes, that's more later in the tournament. These smaller venues and shit, they're playing in a lot of college venues, so the kids aren't as affected. I know everyone's on Loyola Chicago. I'm not buying it. I'm going to bet on Miami. Yeah, Thursday I see some games I like. My best bets on Thursday are going to be Rhode Island to beat Oklahoma, Miami, Florida to beat Loyola Chicago, Ohio, South Dakota State +8 against Ohio State. And I think that game will be a high-scoring game. That'll go over to 146. Boom. NC State and Seton Hall right after that. I think Seton Hall beat them. That's at 4:30 Eastern. Then there's a little lull. It goes from that game, and then it goes into Villanova at 6:50, 7:10 on CBS television Eastern. Davidson in Kentucky. I think Davidson can give Kentucky all they can handle. 7:20, San Diego State and Houston. Tough game. Here's the one. I'm going to take you Stephen F. Austin plus the 11.5 and over 137.5 in that game. And then at 9:20, we like fucking Von Tech to beat Alabama. Arizona and Buffalo will be a track meet. Michigan play great defense. I'm a Michigan fan, but Kyle Hamburg, you know this, bro. Michigan, they set the same goddamn number all the time for Michigan. 135, and it always goes over. Michigan played good defense, but they also score 80 points a game, and they hit a bunch of threes. So basically, I'm fired up for Vegas right now. I'm fired up for the start of this tournament, even though we got the playing games tomorrow. My trip, man, like what happens when you first get to Vegas is very important because you're betting real money. This isn't online and shit. It's paper money at the window. So, like, and honestly, there's a lot of games. So, like, hypothetically, if I lost every bet on Thursday, the rest of my trip's ruined. Like, I won't have any money left. So, I got to be careful. I got to pick my spots on Thursday, and so do you. It's a fucking marathon, not a sprint. So I'm going to bet my Thursday best bets. Fucking Rhode Island to beat Oklahoma. Miami to beat Loyola Chicago. South Dakota State plus the 8. Seton Hall to beat NC State. And then I don't love these other games. I lean Stephen F. Austin plus the 11.5. Then I'll step up my nighttime bets. I will bet on Virginia Tech to beat Alabama. And then I'll take a couple of overs here. Buffalo, Arizona over 157 and Montana, Michigan over 135. And then, you know what? We can moneyline parlay fucking Arizona and Michigan. That's one thing about this, guys, with the moneyline parlays. You know, the upsets are sort of few and far between, right? So, and the point spreads aren't as big as they used to be. Unfortunately, oh, yeah, we got moneyline here. So, all right, so let's see what that would pay. Okay. Arizona. Like, look, Arizona's only minus 450 on the money line. It's not bad. Arizona, Michigan. Arizona and Michigan is minus 250. Let's throw Duke and Gonzaga in there. This is come on, guys. Are any of these teams losing? And it's not bad odds. Arizona's not losing to Buffalo. Michigan's not losing to Montana. Kansas is not losing to Penn. Gonzaga is not losing to fucking Greensboro. I don't even want Kansas. My fucking book is sideways here. Where's Duke? I wanted to put Duke in here. Yeah, see, even that money line parlay right there. Arizona, Michigan, Kansas, Gonzaga. Minus 150. That's not bad. You know, the one good thing about this new parity college basketball world is the point spreads aren't as big. Do I know any trannies out there? No, just Mimi. I think Mimi's in LA. Put $1,400 on Arizona money line for insurance. Yeah, what do you think, Dilly Dilly? It's not like I'm not asking for anything crazy here. That money line parlay right there. Arizona to beat Buffalo, Michigan to beat Montana, Kansas to beat Pennsylvania, and Gonzaga to beat Greensboro. Minus 150. That's not bad. You know, that'll sort of be my insurance fucking, I'll put 2, 3, maybe nickel or whatever. I'll put a couple $100 on that. Say, okay, in case of my straight up bets turn to shit, how'd that money line parlay do? But I'll be sitting there panicking. Oh my God, Penn's giving Kansas all they can handle. That's why they call it madness. But I got to go to the bathroom here. But I swear, guys, I can tell you a story, man. A couple of years ago, when I lived there, actually, it was a fucking disaster, man. The March Madness, the Thursday morning, I was all like, I'm going to pace myself. I won't be stupid. Thursday morning, right out of the gate, I went to the Stratosphere. I live near the Stratosphere. I went to the Stratosphere, and I literally bet like on almost every game. Fuck. I was like, that game, that game, that game. And I put like $200 a game. Except it was all my money. I had like $1,200 and I bet like $500, $1,000, 200 on 5 games. And I actually won. So I was all fucking like confident and shit. You know, I went like 4-1. I had like 1,600 or 1,700 suddenly. And then that Thursday night, fuck, bam, fucking win a couple of more games. And I'm seeing people in the casino. Some people are like beaten down and tapped out already. And I'm like, man, all right, that was great. I got through the first day. I made money. This is good. We're going to attack tomorrow. And I'll never forget, I went to the Golden Nugget to see Brian Blessing and Tony Miller at the Golden Nugget. And it just started, man. Fucking, I went 0-2. Fuck, 0-2, 1-3. I don't know if you guys remember the year Michigan lost to the Ohio Bobcats, Trey Burke. And, you know, it was a major upset. Fuck. You know, it wasn't like 16-1 type shit, but Michigan fucking choked, fuck, against the Ohio Bobcats about fucking 7 or 8 years ago. And it fucking cost me like fucking like $1,000 ticket. Like it was, I went all big on it. I just remember basically Thursday night, I was sky high. Friday night, I didn't even make it to the late games. I remember like walking out of Golden Nugget at like fucking 5 o'clock Vegas time, 8 o'clock East Coast time. Well, that was nice. That tournament's over for me. I think I walked home from fucking Fremont Street. It was like, well, that's it. I'm out. Fucking, I went from betting like fucking $500 parlay tickets and fucking these big plays and shit. And the next day, fucking Saturday, I'm at the Strat. Fucking, there's fucking $50 on Gonzaga, buddy. And they knew at the window, too, because they knew I was happening like 48 hours later. I was like, yeah, just put the $75 bet in, please. All right, don't ask any questions. Exactly, Kyle. Exactly. I told you guys, there was another tournament. I remember literally it was March Madness and it was Kansas that fucked me. Kansas lost. I remember I was in Circus and basically I told you guys, like if they didn't win, I had to check out and they didn't win. And I had to check into Motel 6 fuck on Tropicana. Fucking horrible place. Like put it this way. All these March Madness games on Thursday, like ask yourself, are you betting them on a regular night? It's sort of like the bowl games. You know what I mean? Are you betting on a Middle Tennessee State fucking, Northern Kentucky fucking game? Usually, or are you just betting it because it's the only game on or it's because of a tournament game? Like there's a lot of games like this. So, I'm not going to force the pick. If the pick is there and it comes natural to me, I'm gonna bet it. But you can get in fucking trouble, guys. Imagine it's like the bowl games, and you have the shitty bowl games at the start. So imagine that's like Thursday, but all the bowl games are in one day, and you're like, I'm gonna bet all these bowl games. Like most people are smart. They're like, I'm not betting the Belt Bowl. Fuck, I don't know. Fuck, fucking piece of shit teams. I don't know. Most people don't bet it, but we're degenerates, right? So you got to pace yourself. You really don't want to fucking lose all your money on Thursday afternoon because you fucking thought, well, you know what? I started chasing and I put $700 on Stephen F. Austin plus 11 and, they lost by 13. They're kids, guys. They're kids. It's the NCAA tournament. Who fucking knows, man? That's why I say sort of lean with the dogs that there'll be close games. Trust the odds maker.
Anyone else like to share? How about you in the back with the glasses, sir?
My name's Bobby, and I am an addict.
Hey, Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. You know, you folks aren't here because you're gamblers. You are here because you are terrible gamblers.
Hey, Bobby.
These folks don't need to stop doing what they're doing. They just need to get better at it. Who's dealing?
Please.
Who's that?
Hello?
We're in. Hello, Bobby. Man, I wanted to get to some NFL talk tonight, but we'll do it on the radio tomorrow. Let me take a quick break here. We'll come back with some closing thoughts. No, I don't think that's the best approach. To not bet any games and only bet on the College of Charleston. I told you, I'm getting my tournament going with Rhode Island. I'm taking Rhode Island to beat Oklahoma. You know, I don't have to bet every fucking game. Like I said, that game's at 12:15, and then it leads into the next game at 3 o'clock that I like, Loyola and Miami. Everyone loves Loyola. I'm not buying it. Give me Miami. My big bet of the day that's going to determine how that opening and how the trip goes, because I'm going to go bigger on this one. I'm going to go South Dakota State plus the 8 points. I also like the over there. I will bet the Seton Hall team. I like Seton Hall. I'm not going to force the Davidson, Kentucky pick. I leave him with Davidson, but I'm not going to force it. San Diego State and Houston, I'm not going to force it. Stephen F. Austin, I think the number's a little high in that game, small play. I do like Virginia Tech, and I do like Michigan and Montana to go over. So really the ones that I'll put 200-300 on type thing, Rhode Island, Miami, Florida, South Dakota State, Seton Hall, Va Tech, Michigan, Montana over. And then, maybe a sprinkle on a few other overs here. And then we talked about that money line parlay. That's pretty good. So we could play a money line parlay earlier in the day and get through it as well. Tennessee, Gonzaga, Kansas, Duke, right? And then you play another money line parlay later in the day. No, I'm Nigerian. That's what my ancestry says. No, Kyle, I don't have, you know what? It fucking sucks, bro. It fucking sucks, bro. Like, I really don't have as much money as I would like or need for a trip like this, to be honest. So I'm going to sort of come out. I'm sort of going to come out like, no, like I'm not, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, basically, I will be betting like $200 a game. No, I did my ancestry test there. I'm 59% Welsh, Scottish, Irish. Like 10 or 15% Eastern European. 5% Kansai Jewish, and 1% Nigerian. No joke. I'm 0.9% Nigerian, according to my ancestry. Yeah, it's funny. I never even heard of Ankazi Jews before, but yeah, I'm 5 or 7% actually, supposedly. I don't know how the validity of this, but I was just reading the other day. Bruno Mars is Izenjai Jewish. I'm not Jewish, like, you know what I mean? But my ancestry says that I'm fucking 7% or 5%, 7% British, 7% UK too. Yeah, it's like I said, I'm not surprised when I found out I got Nigerian in me. I like black chicks, and I got a big dick. So I was like, yeah, makes sense. No, I respect the Jewish traditions like Krusty the Clown does, Van Fob. I don't force it. Yeah, you're exactly right, Kyle. In that ballpark type thing, you know. Basically, Kyle, you know the drill, though. Like how it goes in the first day really will matter, you know. Like, put it this way. Like, I hope to put, I'll put like 300 on that fucking South Dakota game, 100 on other games. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sort of thinking, like, my level of units will sort of be like 100, 200, or 300. But if I don't win early, I'm going to run out of money right away. So, hopefully, you know, it'd be funny. I'm in Vegas. I'll have to tell Cam, listen, Cam, I need you to call your bookie. I'll need you to call your bookie right now. We're in Vegas here. You know what? What a great night of thumbs up. 52 thumbs up, 0 thumbs down. I should have said this because now somebody inevitably is going to give us a thumbs down. But if you haven't given us a thumbs up, please do. Support SBR. Check out Bet Online. Have they gotten their server issues worked out right now? Paul Bovey's in Colombia. Paul Bovey's on Twitter and shit, but the dude's in Colombia. It's hard to get him to do a fucking hit. He's in Colombia. He's in Panama, Colombia and shit. The guy, you know, the guy's always around. Oh, there's the thumbs down. I should have just shut up. We could have pitched the shutout. You shit faces, whoever just did this. Why? You did it because I said, oh, yeah, whatever. You really think I'm losing sleep over that now? You think I get some $100,000 fucking bonus because like I pitched a no-hitter, like I'm a big league pitcher? I wish there was a way right now I could see who fucking gave the thumbs down. Because you're obviously in the chat. Yeah. I wish I could see. How come it doesn't say? Like, I wish I could fucking see which one of you motherfuckers did this, and then I'd ban you for life. I would too. Like if I could see who gave these 2 thumbs down and I could put the name to it, I'd say, all right, fuck, I'm banning this guy. There must be a way. I just got to look into this. Exactly, Pete Peters. There has to be a way. There has to be a way. I'm going to look into this. I never really cared before, but now that I want to see, because whoever did it is here with us right now. So we basically have 2 traders because no one just jumped in and signed in that fast. Whoever did this is amongst you. So there's 2 of you right now. I have my suspicions. There's a few names that I know that are pretty much fucking the fake sort of stalker dudes. But like I said, I'd like to know which 2 of you just did this. This is like, good job, Kyle. Nothing wrong with that, buddy. This is like one of those fucking cruise ships where like there's a murderer amongst us. You know, it's like those mystery solves. We know. Like I said, there's no way that whoever did this was not in the chat already because it happened too fast. So you were already here. So two of you are just here because I don't know. The obvious choices are Bruce, Chad, and Jazz. Oh, there's Jazz. What a coincidence. Now I know it was you, Jazz. You haven't been around all night, Jazz. Now suddenly you're fucking LOLing after this shit. It is you. You're one of them. Hey, Jazz. Now look at Jazz. Jazz hasn't said anything all night. Now he's laughing. Yeah. We should. You're right, Bobbert. I should do like the cop right now. All right. Whoever admits to it, I will not fucking settle down, Davos. Could have been you. You're right. It should be like the cop, Bobbert. All right. Whoever did this, just own up to it, and we won't turn you into the authorities. I won't ban you. It says go to analytics to see dislikes. I like it, Pete Peters. Thank you. I like your style. I'm just busting Jazz balls. I actually know Jazz. I know it's not Jazz. Thank you very much, Degenerate Dean. Yeah, I see people fucking unclicking right now. Now that you know, I'm going to find out. I'm glad. I'm going to find out. Just for the record, I don't care enough to fucking do this right after the show, but I'm going to pass this on to fucking Matty Ice. He's the analytics guy at SPR. I'm going to ask him, fucking check that and let me know who the 3 people were that fucking gave us a thumbs down so we can ban them. So whoever just did this as a little joke, you're going to get busted. I'm like fucking Bob Mueller. You know, the investigation is on. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to find out who the 3 fucking moles are. It's too late. It's too late to turn back too. The special counsel, it's like Bob Mueller, exactly. The special counsel has fucking spoken, and the investigation can't be closed. I see there's backtracking right now and a thumbs up. Too late. You better try to backtrack and hope that the fucking you covered your trail, because I swear, man, I'm going to find out. I'm not, like I said, I'm a busy man, all right? I'm not that crazy, so I'm not going to look right after the show because it's going to take me a few minutes, but I'm going to get on this in the morning. I'm going to send a message to the fucking SBR crew. I'm going to say, listen, I want to find out who fucking did this. I'm going to be very interested to find out. We're going to find out. We're going to find out, Chris Blanchard. As sure as fucking the crew of Law and Order are going to find out. No, you know what? I don't want you guys turning on each other. A lot of good people here in the chat. It's a couple of the fucking stalker fuck jobs, you know, whatever. As a whole, it's not the regulars. You guys are all right. I'm not trying to get you to turn. I'm like Hoover and FBI here, fucking in that movie. Everyone's under investigation. You're all communists, all of you. See, the thing is, if somebody just would have done this, on their own, I wouldn't have cared. But it's the fact that they noticed. I brought it up, and then they're like, "That's a good idea, Kyle. I like it." The chat room bracket. I like it. Great idea. You know what, Kyle? We'll set it up when I'm on my way to Vegas and shit. It'll be a good thing to do on the plane. Fuck. We're not doing 68, though. Maybe we'll do like a 16 guy bracket. Kyle Hamburg, Bruce Chad. Who wants in the bracket? Who wants in the bracket? Yeah, it's a great idea. We're going to have a Rageaholic bracket. We thanks to Kyle for the idea. Great job. Degenerate Dean. So you want Bruce? You want to be matched up with Bruce? Bruce has definitely got to be in the bracket. You got to be in the bracket, but no, feelings can't get hurt here. No, we're going to have a champion when it's all said and done. Yeah, what's the bracket though? The most annoying person or the fucking coolest person? Like, what are we getting at? That's the thing. Is this like who's the coolest guy in the chat? Like who's the most likable guy? Or like who's the biggest fucking heel? I think we got to go with who's the most likable guy. Like who's the guy that, yeah, this guy, he's all right. Fuck, I'll put him ahead of him. All right, so we got to get out of here, but yeah, all kinds of crazy football shit going on in the next couple of days. Let's let the shit hit the fan here. But just to quickly get you caught up to date, the Buffalo Bills traded Cordy Glenn and their 21st pick to the Cincinnati Bengals for the 12th pick in the draft. So the Bills now have the 12th pick and the 22nd pick and a bunch of second-round picks. It's pretty clear the Bills are in play for a quarterback in the draft. The only question is which one. There's a legitimate thought that the Bills like Josh Rosen that much that they're going to try to swing it and get the Giants or the Colts to fucking cough up their picks because if they don't need quarterbacks. It wouldn't shock me if the Buffalo Bills signed Kirk Cousins either. Just because you don't hear their name here, it wouldn't shock me. So now it is Arizona Cardinals reportedly set to offer because this shit's hitting the fan on Thursday. Actually, is it tomorrow? Fuck, the countdown's on now, isn't it? For the NFL free agency. So, this Drew Brees shit too. Everyone thought, no, he's not leaving New Orleans yet. You let it get this far, anything can happen. You let it get this far. And Tony Sincata on the radio show today brought up a great point that Tom Benson's sick. And he's not going to be normal again. Like, he's old, he's done, he's out of it, he's seen now, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And his wife and his fucking earlier wife and the kids, of course, Tom Benson's a scumbag, all right? So it's not a surprise that his family are going to be all scumbags. They're all suing each other and they're all jockeying who's going to take over. Sincata raised a very good point that Drew Brees might see this and say, you know what? This is a fucking shit show. I don't even want to deal with Benson's daughter because Brees knows the real story and shit about what Benson's done behind the scenes. So he could say, you know what? This is over. Fuck. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to take fucking Minnesota's money. I can go win a Super Bowl, It's a possibility. It wouldn't be, it's going to be real interesting over the next couple of days, man. The Jets supposedly, Kirk Cousins was coy on Twitter today. He tweeted Kirk Cousins wrote a story and like he thanked Washington and shit. So he's like, I want to thank the Washington fans. I know I'm not going to be a Redskin now. It's, you know, it's real. And I know I'm not going to be a Redskin anymore. I want to thank the Redskin Nation. He went off about thank Redskin Nation. You guys are great. And I want to thank Mike Shanahan. He didn't thank fucking Gruden or anyone else. He said, I want to thank the fans and I want to thank fucking Mike Shanahan. Shanahan had a huge impact on my career. Thanks to Shanahan for taking a chance on me in Washington. And then at the end of it, it said hashtag Jets, hashtag Vikings. He did that himself. Fuck. He put hashtag Jets, hashtag Vikings. Now, who knows, man, what that means? He deleted it after. He deleted it after. So I don't know what that means. I mean, is he playing games? He could be. He could be putting fucking hashtag Jets Vikings knowing that fucking he's about to sign with the Cardinals and he's trying to throw a curveball to everybody. It could be a mind game with fucking Cardinals trying to get more money. The Vikings, it would seem imminent that he was about to sign with the Vikings. Now the Vikings have a hard-on for Drew Brees. Do they really? Or are they just trying to threaten Kirk Cousins and saying, look, fuck, you know, we'll sign someone else. You know, I don't know, man. There's a lot of jockeying going on right now. There's a rumor that A.J. McCarron could sign with Denver if they don't get Cousins. And, you know, I don't know if they're even in the mix for Cousins. I don't know. What are the Buffalo Bills up to? You know, the Buffalo Bills keep aggressively trading up and up and up here. So it's pretty obvious that the Bills, and they let Tyrod Taylor go. Nate Peterman's not going to be their quarterback. So something's about to happen with the Buffalo Bills. I just don't know what it is. The Bills do a great job of not having shit leak ever. You never know what they're up to, this team. And they're very unpredictable. So I don't know, man. You know, it wouldn't shock me if the Bills signed Kirk Cousins and shocked the world. It wouldn't shock me if the Bills are trying to fucking trade up and try to get the Colts fucking pick or the Giants pick in the top 3. You know, they could, you know, who knows what they're up to. Like I said, I know the Bills love Josh Rosen. They think Josh Rosen is the guy. I know that, but they didn't think they could get him. But now it's becoming a reality that they have all these picks. You could give 12, 21, and another pick and get fucking traded up there. The other teams will do it. You know, they'd be dumb not to. It's a gamble for the Bills, but the Bills feel they need a franchise quarterback, and they stockpile picks, the Bills, so they can sort of bite it and say, yeah, we gave up 2 picks, but we traded that pick for that's the Sammy Watkins pick, and that's that pick, and you know, we translated Sammy Watkins and this pick into fucking into Josh Rosen. You know, like I could see the Bills trying to do this and get really aggressive and get into the top 3 here, 2 or 3. They know that the Browns aren't going to do it. The Browns have Tyrod Taylor. They're going to take they want Saquon Barkley. So the Bills can make a deal with the Browns even. They could say, listen, we'll fucking give you the fucking 12 and 21. Give us the fucking first pick. And, you know, we'll try to, or like if they got into the second pick, you know, like if the Bills just told the Browns, we know you're not taking a quarterback, but don't do it. We'll throw in this. There's a lot of shit that could happen here. Arizona for Kirk Cousins would be attractive too. Kirk Cousins to me seems though that he only really gives a shit about the money. I don't think Kirk Cousins is playing this out. Where can I go? Where can I win? I think Kirk Cousins is playing this out as who's going to give me the most fucking money on Thursday. I think that's what he's thinking. All right, so it's actually tomorrow. My bad. I don't know. They got these weird tampering. The biggest day in the NFL calendar started the new year this year. Wednesday, March 14th. Free agents can begin signing with other teams, and it's reasonable to start a slew of big signings. It's also the deadline for teams to render restricted exclusive freight agencies. Monday, March 12th, 12 noon Eastern is a notable deadline. It's the beginning of the legal tampering period. Restricted and free agency. So, yeah, it starts fucking Wednesday at 4. You know the deal with this shit all the time. They sign, but they can't announce it until this date and on until the 14th, until this date, and, you know, all this other bullshit. So, yeah, so this is official, huh? Case Keenum signing with the Denver Broncos. I saw you guys bring this up earlier. I didn't know if it was official, but yeah. Adam Schefter reports that Case Keenum has told people he's signing with the Denver Broncos. Schefter says that the Denver Broncos considered the Kirk Cousins, but it just wasn't working out. And that they actually liked Teddy Bridgewater as well, but they settled on fucking Case. It's funny. They were like, all right, which one of the Vikings quarterbacks are we going to take? Right now, that wouldn't shock me if the Buffalo Bills said, yeah, we took Teddy Bridgewater. Fuck. I like Bridgewater too, but Case Keenum, I guess they think, listen, we're like Minnesota. We got a good defense. He can do some of the same things. Case Keenum's all right. He's not great, but he's definitely an upgrade for the crap that they had in Denver. Glenn's a good player. He's a little inconsistent, but he's good. He'll help your line. You know what I mean? He'll help your line. Word is the Bengals are in love with Lamar Jackson. Glenn is good, but he makes money. And I don't know, the Bills, he seemed to piss the Bill staff off a lot. But yeah, he has a health issue. Staying on the field is a thing. But anyways, I got to get out of here. We've been on all night here. I've been on all day. So I hear Jimmy Graham's going to sign with the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if that's official, but that's what I was hearing. Jimmy Graham to the Packers. Which would be interesting with Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Graham, etc. Big tight end target for him to go with the receivers. All right, guys. Yeah, I appreciate the support, guys. Support SBR. You gave us a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Sucks that Bet Online servers are down right now, but pick out a book over at sportsbookreview.com. Check out a book at sportsbookreview.com. Pick out a book that's right for you. Take advantage of the bonuses going into March Madness. We'll see you tomorrow night. We'll break down some more games. We're going to have the play-in games tomorrow night. Let's go over the number with UCLA and St. Bonaventure. Check me out on Twitter at SportsRage for my picks tomorrow. And I'll be on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network at 4. Check out all the great SBR content tomorrow online as well. Thanks, Van Fopp. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Gogster. Thanks, Pappin. Oh, yeah, if you guys want in, I'll send you the link there, Kyle. I need your email. But if you guys want in, I'm running a $100 entry NCAA bracket pool. Winners for first and second place. Prizes for first and second place. I started it a little late this year, so we don't have that many guys in it. Like last year, a couple of years ago, we had like fucking 28, 30. Last year, we had 14. This year, we'll probably have about 10. So it'll be about $1,000 pot, 700 to the winner, 300 second place. Contact me on Twitter if you want in. I know some of you got in on that. See you later in Alaska. See you later, Nick. Thanks, Pappin, Gogster, Van Fob, you're a class act buddy. See you later, Pete Peters, Kyle Hamburg, Lucas. Daniel Masser, everyone else, I don't see your name here right now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. You guys fucking rock. We'll see you tomorrow night. See you later, McCursey. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours. Later.